front of us. And we've got an Arsenal side who, as Mark says, have the chance to go 6 points clear at the top of the table this evening. 5 times in their history, Arsenal have topped the Premier League table at the turn of the year. On all 5 previous occasions, they have failed to go on and win the title. Rob Green is 2026, the year that finally changes and sees the Gunners crowned champions of England for the first time since 2004.
Well, with a 6-point gap, you can't back against them, can you? The players that they've got back, we'll go through the starting 11s in a minute, but the bench is looking so strong for Arsenal tonight.
Yeah, we are underway. Bournemouth kicking us off. The big highlight team news. Semenyo into the penalty area, in the side, just about robbed at the back by Zubimendi for Arsenal, who concedes the corner. Perfect timing, Antoine Semenyo. That is the big team news. Of course, he's widely expected to join Manchester City later this January transfer window. But Andoni Iraola saying in his pre-match press conference they expect him to play the next couple of games. This game against Arsenal and then Tottenham on Wednesday. He's won an early corner, which Justin Kluivert is over to take for Bournemouth. Declan Rice starting for Arsenal, recovering from that knee injury. The big team news for the Gunners. So Kluivert's delivery, it's cleared away just inside that 6-yard box by Victor Gyökeres, who's back there defending, forward once more by David Brooks. That's cleared away on the far side by Arsenal and will be picked up by one of their 3 changes for this game, Noni Madueke. We'll take you through the full lineups in a moment, but Bournemouth starting this game very brightly. They've won the game, they've won the ball on the halfway line, forward towards Evan Nielsen, cleared away by Gabriel, will be brought down by Tavernier on that left-hand side. Bournemouth playing from left to right in the red and black striped shirts, the black shorts and the black socks. Arsenal in their change strip with the white shirts, the burgundy shorts and the white socks. Over on the far side, Bournemouth win the throw. Rob Green.
Yeah, Semenyo trotting over to take the long throw now. It's one of the roots of success that they had last season against Arsenal, but it's a sharp start from Bournemouth. Tactic to clear, bypass midfield, get forward in numbers, pressurise Arsenal.
Yeah, they did the double over Arsenal last season. Bournemouth winless in their last 10 though. Long throw from Semenyo. We saw how effective that was in their draw with Chelsea at the weekend. That time it's cleared away by Arsenal. Semenyo has it again on the left hand side, chipped in, the header by Arsenal under pressure from Gabriel. He's appealing for a foul, but it's sailed over his own bar and it's given as a corner by our referee Chris Kavanagh. Brilliant start this from Bournemouth. 0-0 early stages.
Yeah, all Bournemouth, and you're thinking, how long can you keep this going for? How long can Bournemouth play in the Bournemouth way? The energy that they bring in the opening 2 minutes, they brought so much energy. They are asking questions of Arsenal already.
So second corner of the game for Bournemouth, this one over on the far side, but it's Justin Kluivert again. He stands over it, he raises his left arm in the air. Plenty of movements from Bournemouth in the area as Kluivert swings it in. It's cleared away, that time by Hincapié for Arsenal, and then helped on the edge of the penalty area by Gyökeres. As Martinelli, another of the 3 changes for Arsenal, tries to get on the end of it, and it's stabbed back forward by Ødegaard towards Martinelli. Right hand side, crossing is over the head of Gyökeres, but will be recycled by Hincapié over on this left hand side. Pulls it back to Declan Rice, edge of the penalty area. Goes for the little 1-2 with Ødegaard and gets it back Rice as Arsenal just slow the play down. Zubimendi picks it up, and now Hincapié once again. Declan Rice will pick it up once more. Back to Zubimendi and Arsenal all the way back on the halfway line. So Bournemouth unchanged for this game. So we say the big news that Semenyo is starting. Lewis Cook is back on the bench after missing the draw with Chelsea with a neck injury, as is Fraser Forster. Their number 2, Will Dennis, turned his ankle quite badly in training on Thursday. On Friday, they brought in Fraser Forster. He's been a free agent since leaving Tottenham last summer. He hasn't actually played in over a year, but the 37-year-old is on the bench for Bournemouth today, as Declan Rice has it in the centre circle. So that's one of 3 changes for Arsenal. Rice, Madueke and Martinelli in for Marino. Saka and Trossard, they're all on the bench. And as Arsenal have the ball midway through their own half, I mean, Rice back in for Marino is a no-brainer. But looking ahead to the game that they've got against Liverpool on Thursday, a bit of rotation there with Saka and Trossard dropping out and Madueke and Martinelli coming in.
Yeah, you're looking at it, and perhaps Mikel Arteta's looking at the game saying, well, if Bournemouth do bring the press, and we just saw it momentarily, Martinelli getting away, the pace that he brings down the left, Madueke down the right.
Here goes Hincapié down the left-hand side, ball into the area, but it's easily collected by Djordje Petrovic, who is in goal. For Bournemouth, their back four of Alex Jimenez, James Hill, Marcos Senesi and Adrian Truffert. Ahead of them it's Marcus Tavernier and Alex Scott, with David Brooks, Justin Kluivert and Antoine Semenyo supporting Evan Nielsen up top. Arsenal in possession with Declan Rice on the halfway line. 4.5 minutes have flown by here on the south coast on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And it's goalless between Bournemouth and Arsenal. As Madueke into the area, looking for the return pass. It's cleared away by Bournemouth on the edge of the 6-yard box. Alex Scott back there defending, and will be brought down nicely by Kluivert, but then slips over trying to control the ball. Bournemouth will retain possession though, and it's forward by Jimenez to Antoine Semenyo. No hint of distraction in his play so far, with that much mooted move to Manchester City still yet to materialise very early on in this January transfer window. As Arsenal want the free kick on the edge of the penalty area, not given, but they picked it up with Zubimendi midway through the Bournemouth half, playing from right to left as Odegaard lets fly, and it's wide and it's high.
Yeah, wayward from Odegaard, but Semenyo down in his own corner flag really. It was a poor clearance from him and they picked it up. Bournemouth are trying to play through the middle of the park and they're failing miserably. You're thinking, well, you had a momentary success at the start of the game going long. Well, just stick to it, because Arsenal are pressing, Arsenal are in control on the ball. They're leaving 3v3, 4v4 at the back. Just bypass it all.
So, Bournemouth taking their time over this goal kick with Petrovic. And we'll play out now from the back where they go long, as Rob Green has suggested. Yes, out to this right-hand side, looking for Antoine Semenyo, who flicks it on, but can only send it straight out of play. So Arsenal with David Raya in goal. The back four of Jurien Timber, William Saliba, Gabriel and Piero Hincapié. Ahead of them it's Martin Odegaard, Martin Zubimendi and Declan Rice, with Gabriel Martinelli and Noni Madueke supporting Victor Gyökeres. Up front, we should mention no Kai Havertz on the bench for Arsenal today. That is load management. Essentially, they're not rushing him back in. He's not played since the opening weekend of the season. He was on the bench last time out against Aston Villa after recovering from that knee injury, but hasn't made the trip to the south coast today. But they do have the likes of such a strong bench, as we say, Saka and Trossard, Gabriel Jesus, Ebere Eze, as they bring it down the right-hand side with Saliba. That ball is cut out and will fall to David Brooks, who steers it forward only into the feet of Zubimendi. Back to Gabriel inside the centre circle, and they have just settled Arsenal after that early Bournemouth pressure. Yeah, a lot of passes in midfield through Zubimendi, who's breaking forwards. And he's played the ball to the edge of the area. Here's Gyökeres. Bournemouth get the foot in and should be able to clear away. It's Petrovic, all in that greenish yellow colour, put under a bit of pressure up towards halfway. Arsenal win it back through Declan Rice. Good foot in by James Hill at the back for Bournemouth, but collected once again. Arsenal just first to the second balls at the moment, and Gabriel has it once more. 0-0, 7 minutes gone.
Yeah, Bournemouth are a 4-4-2 out possession. Kluivert and Evan Nielsen as the two forwards, and they're just leaving too much space between them and the midfield. Zubimendi, Odegaard, Rice can all drop in and pick up the ball. Here they come again, Arsenal. It's Madueke. Lovely footwork inside the area and then blazes the effort over. Well, we've seen a couple of those in these early stages. One from Odegaard, one from Madueke, both off target. But of course, got a bit to prove, Noni Madueke. Yeah, and you're feeling that should have been better, because he's got the space. He steps inside against Truffert, and then everyone else sets back. Brooks is the next man, and he's a good 4 or 5 yards away. You're thinking, just steady yourself, take another touch. He doesn't, and he just feels like he's rushed that shot. The ball's getting away from him. He had more time than he thought. 6th Premier League start of the season for Noni Madueke, after his big money summer arrival from Chelsea. Could rise to just over 50 million with add-ons. A few Arsenal fans at the time were questioning that for a player that they felt would be mostly used as a substitute, and also giving a large chunk of money to their London rivals. He's played from the bench as well, Madueke, this season, as Bournemouth have it just outside the centre circle with Scott. Yeah, you're just feeling that when they're without the ball, Bournemouth, looking at the two centre midfielders at the minute, is Brooks, Scott and Tavernier really in there. They're not the most defence-minded of players, and he's married that up against Zubimendi and Rice, who are in there. The movement and the knowledge of where to be and the lines to cut off are completely different. They've done well on the halfway line though, and will work it out to this left-hand side, Bournemouth, and they won't quite win the corner. Easy collection for David Raya, goes to the edge of his penalty area and plays the ball out. Now
via Zubimendi to Declan Rice. Bournemouth just putting a bit of a press on as Raya sweeps it out to the left-hand side now, and Gabriel just outside his own penalty area pulls it back to Declan Rice, who eases away from that Bournemouth pressure. Lays it back to Gabriel once more. Arsenal playing their way out of trouble from the back, and they win the free kick. And Capia going down under pressure from Antoine Semenyo. And Arsenal have the set piece just inside their own half, 0-0.
Yeah, well, Bournemouth are pressing, and when they press high, they're pressing across the whole of the pitch. And there's so much to ask from, for example, Brooks way out on the left-hand side. He's got to get across and in to protect the ball, the switch coming across. And from there, you're looking at the spaces that are in or around, and you're just thinking, if Gyökeres or Martinelli goes...
All given away by Gabriel. Evan Nielsen surely to give Bournemouth the lead, and does so. What a shocking error by Gabriel. He raises his eyes to the heavens and slaps his own forehead with his palm, because he knows he has gifted Evan Nielsen that ball. He has gifted Bournemouth the lead here against the Premier League leaders Arsenal. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 0.
It's a horror show from Gabriel, and it's the most reliable of defenders for Arsenal. They're keeping the ball in their own half, just passing it around, looking for that space I was talking about, and he's gone to switch it across to his teammate Saliba on the right hand side, and it's a complete shank, it's a complete miss hit, and he's just gifted the ball to Evan Nielsen, 18 yards out. David Raya out the goal. He cannot miss that. He's not had a million of goals this season. He cannot miss that. He will not score an easier goal all season. He will never score an easier goal against Arsenal. They've gifted the lead.
Third goal of the season for Evan Nielsen. As you say, Rob, it hasn't been the most prolific campaign for a man who got 12 goals last season, and he even had time to take a touch.
It was incredible. It's something that he picked him out perfectly on the edge of the box, almost like he was a teammate, another centre-half. And the horrible feeling for him, Gabriel, was his head went up to the heavens as soon as he's made contact with the ball. We've all been there. It's one off the tee. It's just something that just goes sideways. It's a horrible miscue. It's already, you're looking at Arsenal thinking, this is a test now.
They've got a throw deep in Bournemouth territory on the left-hand side with Declan Rice. Can the Gunners hit back immediately? The Vitality Stadium is rocking, and it's the home fans that are making the noise. Can Arsenal quell it? Rice with the long throw into the area. It's flicked across, almost brought down by Timber on the edge of the penalty area. Antoine Semenyo then with a missed kick clearance, and Arsenal win it back on halfway, but they've given it away, and Semenyo that time much better control with his head, and then he's fouled and wins the free kick on the edge of the centre circle to Bournemouth, who lead on 5 Live and BBC Sounds by a goal to 0.
Yeah, the home fans are enjoying this now. And the strange thing with the goal was Gabriel had time to take a touch, open it out to his favourite foot. He had the space and he knew what he wanted to do. That switch is on, but he rushed it, and he's just such a horrible shot.
Here come Bournemouth again. Clive is to shoot 30 yards, flashes a few yards wide of David Raya's left-hand post. But just going back to Gabriel, I mean, of course, he's recently back from injury, made his first start since mid-November when he got injured playing for Brazil in their last match against Aston Villa. Is that to do with rustiness at all, or is it just impossible to tell?
It's a 1 in a million. He will not shank another ball like that in another 10 years. It was just horrible, and we all do it. It happens every now and again. It just costed them at the most critical time. You're thinking, all you need to do is clear that man, and he just rolled it to his feet.
And Evan Nielsen could not believe his luck. Took a touch, and with Raya scrambling, rolled it in to give Bournemouth the early lead here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. It's Arsenal in possession midway through their own half. Well, a lot was made of Arsenal's mentality, which has been such a key question over so many years for the Gunners. In their last match against Aston Villa, they won by 4 goals to 1. That was goalless at half-time. They stayed in it in the first half. They were brilliant in the second half. They blew Villa away, ending an 11-game winning run. That's the sort of mentality that, as we say, has been so questioned when it comes to Arsenal over the years, that they've got to draw on once again as they have a free kick on halfway. And we have to say, long way to go.
Yeah, and you're thinking about it, you're saying, well, these things happen once in a while, just crack on and carry on. And they are doing the right thing, and they do have the space when they have the ball. Declan Rice is dropping in now, but you know, Zubimendi's dropped in, Odegaard's dropped in, Timber's into midfield. They've got so many options to go forwards. They can play through Bournemouth whenever they want, really.
Bournemouth, who have not won in their last 10 games, and Bournemouth, who have conceded a free kick midway through their own half. On the left-hand side, Declan Rice has come over as Chris Kavanagh, the referee, just tells him exactly where to take that from.
Looking at the Arsenal players, they're all lining up way beyond the Bournemouth players, and realising the Bournemouth players now are all scrambling back in a line to get towards the Arsenal players. This is a real threat with Declan Rice's delivery. And
there's no outlet for Bournemouth either. Everybody is back behind this free kick on the edge of the penalty area as Georgi Petrovic, the goalkeeper, waits in his 6-yard box as Rice swings it in. It's deep, good punch by Petrovic. Gets the ball out of the penalty area, right-hand side. It'll be picked up for Arsenal by Madueke. Taking on Antoine Semenyo, he's done brilliantly down to the byline. Madueke trying to get the ball across, almost took it all the way himself. Blocked by Martinelli and then fired home by Gabriel. Oh, what a way to atone for the mistake that he made a few moments ago at the other end. He caught that quite sweetly indeed. First time into the bottom corner after Martinelli's shot was blocked. Bournemouth can't clear their lines, and Gabriel makes almost instantaneous amends and now points to the sky in celebration rather than despair, because it's Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 1.
Well, it's a goal and an assist already within 15 minutes for Gabriel, and this was such a sweet strike compared to the assist for the Bournemouth goal. It's Madueke who's got the space and the time to run up against Semenyo, and it's a mismatch. Semenyo doesn't really want to defend against him. He bypasses him, lays it back. A couple of Arsenal players have a stab at it. He drops to Gabriel and he smashes it home. Well, he didn't take Arsenal long to respond, did it? You're thinking, you're wondering, how will they come back from this setback? Well, looking at it, you're saying normal service has resumed for them.
And it's a beautifully controlled finish, isn't it, from Gabriel? Not just because he's a centre-half and it's more of a striker's finish, but because of what's happened at the other end. We've not restarted yet because Bournemouth still have a player down inside their own area.
We were just looking for something on VAR. I don't know what it was. There was no real question of whether the goal stood or not. It was a good goal. The look of anger on Gabriel's face was palpable.
But it's not going to be chalked off. The ball is on the centre spot again, and Bournemouth it will be to get us underway. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 1. What a start we've had here at the Vitality Stadium here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Earlier in the Premier League today, Aston Villa beating Nottingham Forest by 3-1. First win in the Premier League of the season for Wolves, thumping West Ham 3-0 at Molineux, and Brighton beating Burnley by 2-0. So Arsenal, with those results in mind, with the chance to go 6 points clear of Villa and 7 clear of Manchester City ahead of their game against Chelsea tomorrow, as Gyökeres strikes, Hill deflects it behind for an Arsenal corner. 1-1.
Oh, the momentum has completely changed. You have to credit Arsenal. They did not blink when that happened, when they conceded the goal. They've just carried on, and Gyökeres has got the space there, driving at the defence. He's coming onto his left foot. He really didn't want to shoot. He was looking around for any option other than to shoot, but in the end had to take it on.
So Declan Rice over to take this corner from the left-hand side. Raises his left hand in the air and gives a thumbs up as the white shirts of Arsenal tussle with the red and black of Bournemouth, and Petrovic again gets a touch on that ball in, almost underneath his crossbar there. Good goalkeeping. Semenyo the outlet, sends it over the halfway line. David Raya has come almost up to the centre circle to hoof it over the halfway line, and out on the left-hand side for a Bournemouth throw. 1-1, 18.5 minutes gone.
Well, what an opening 18.5 minutes it has been. You're wondering what sort of style Bournemouth would bring to the game, and when they go forward with numbers and directness, they have an option, they have challenges around for the Arsenal defence.
And Alex Scott has gone direct, looking for the run of Justin Kluivert through the centre. Saliba's got there first, under pressure, plays it back to Raya, scoops it out to this left-hand side, well, won again by Scott, headed against Semenyo by Hincapié. Declan Rice takes charge and will clear up towards halfway for Arsenal, who have cancelled out that early Bournemouth opener from Evan Nielsen. Gabriel's shocking pass straight to the Bournemouth striker, but Gabriel making amends with a quite sweetly struck equaliser as Alex Scott goes down just inside the Arsenal half, and Bournemouth win a free kick, 1-1.
Yeah, it's almost like when they scored, they thought we've got to play Bournemouth, and it didn't really do him a good service. Thinking just go direct, because that's what you want to do, and then press, because the out ball is Gyökeres, and you're looking at the two centre halves of Bournemouth, and they fancy it against him. You saw it then, he pressured him, he lost the ball, he then gives away the foul. They can then again put pressure on Arsenal.
So, free kick to Bournemouth. Alex Jimenez is standing over it. It's just inside the Arsenal half on the right-hand side as Jimenez switches the play out to the left-hand side. It's cleared away by Gabriel. Seems to be the centre of all the action at the moment. Cleared forward now by Tavernier for Bournemouth. Gabriel's there again under a bit of pressure from Brooks, and Brooks has done better than Gabriel there. He's kept it in on the byline as Gabriel was trying to usher it out. Timber then getting in a really important challenge and bringing the ball away. As Marcus Senesi it was, he was there on the left wing, but Timber wins that challenge. Bournemouth win it back so Senesi can get back into position, and Alex Scott has it and plays it to Tavernier. It's a harem-scarum first 20 or so minutes here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Bournemouth 1, table-topping Arsenal 1. Rob Green.
Yeah, just when they go forwards and they've got the numbers there, Arsenal really aren't sure what to do with it. They kind of want to play and they want to get it down, but they're getting so many numbers forward and pressing so well. Brooks is on, and again,
here he goes, David Brooks, 25 yards out, stabs it into the area, might be an offside. Flag stays down for now as Evan-Nielsen gets his shot away, and belatedly the flag does go up for offside on this near side, and in the end Evan-Nielsen couldn't take the chance anyway.
No, but this is it. This is Brooks all of a sudden. He's stepping forwards and he's up against Gabriel, and he's in space running at the Arsenal defence, and he was so far offside. I'm not sure why the assistant referee didn't put his flag up straight away, but again, they just go for it, Bournemouth. If you just go for it, you can ask a really good question of Arsenal here.
It's what they did for good spells in their last match against Chelsea, isn't it? David Brooks getting his first goal of the season in that 2-2 draw. As David Raya prepares to take this free kick just inside his own penalty area for Arsenal, all in green, raises the left hand in that big white glove and sends it long towards the Bournemouth penalty area, brought down by Gyökeres but can't find a teammate. Brooks' back heel can only find Noni Madueke for Arsenal, who goes back into the Arsenal half to William Saliba.
That's exactly the point, Vicky, there. He went to go backwards, don't. The instinct was just go forwards, just go.
Arsenal giving it away on the halfway line. Kluivert evading the attentions of Declan Rice, and now Tavernier out to the left-hand side, and Alex Scott has it down to the byline, pulls it across. It's cleared away by Zubamendi on the edge of his own 6-yard box for Arsenal, and picked up over on that far side by Bournemouth once more. Now Kluivert, edge of the penalty area, left-hand side. David Brooks in field to Tavernier, pressured by Gyökeres, who again is working so hard off the ball. Out to the right-hand side, Bournemouth go now. Lovely control by Alex Jimenez, taking on Martinelli, right-hand side of the area. No way through so far for Jimenez. Now just gets into the area and pulls it back to James Hill, and the flicked header by the arriving Marcus Tavernier is sent behind for an Arsenal goal kick, 1-1.
Yeah, really good from Bournemouth. Committing bodies. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players in the box to attack the cross, and it's Tavernier to make the run. Gets the contact, but just the excitement and the atmosphere that they bring when they do attack. They're looking all around the pitch to say, let's not ask any questions of ourselves, let's ask questions of Arsenal.
And that time, from that goal kick from Raya, they had 3 red and black shirts just outside the Arsenal penalty area. Arsenal had played around that press. They found Hincapié eventually on this left-hand side, midway through his own half. But again, the press from Bournemouth, as Rob says, is really paying off. And this time it's Semenyo who picks it up. Tavernier now, just inside the centre circle, pulls it back to Marcos Senesi. Forwards to Tavernier once more. He's got options on the left-hand side and uses it with Adrian Truffert, now all the way back to Senesi. Now James Hill will pick it up on the halfway line. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 1. Bournemouth with the early lead through Evan-Nielsen after a shocking pass by Gabriel. Played the Bournemouth man in. Gabriel it was, equalising with a quite sweetly struck strike at the other end as Evan-Nielsen down under the challenge of Gabriel. That will be a free kick to Bournemouth midway through the Arsenal half, central position, 1-1.
Well, you can't keep him out of it in a minute, Gabriel, can you? It's again a really good press from Bournemouth, winning the ball, the first ball up into the front man. They step onto it, and then all of a sudden it opens up, and it's a really good ball into Evan-Nielsen. He spins. it's from that goal, from the Arsenal goal, it's been all Bournemouth pressing all the way into the Arsenal half. They haven't been able to get out.
So Bournemouth have 5 players, 6 if you count Alex Scott, who's just joining that circle, surrounding the yellow ball as they prepare to take this free kick. 31 yards out, central position. David Raya organising that Arsenal wall on the edge of the D. Tavernier is one of those standing there. Got Clivert as well. Well, it's a way out. What do we think?
Well, it's almost Szoboszlai reasons, shall we say? We're going back a couple of months.
So, let's see. Tavernier or Clivert. Clivert does look like he fancies it. He is going to go for goal, Clivert. Oh, it was a decent try. Raya was diving, had it covered at that far right-hand post and gets things moving very quickly indeed, David Raya, as the save was made. And now Arsenal pick it up with Ødegaard. Out to the right-hand side, and Declan Rice looking for the run of Noni Madueke, but it's picked up by Bournemouth and Evan Nielsen. Really even contest so far, 1-1.
Yeah, they're really stepping forwards onto Arsenal, but Arsenal then, you look David Raya, realising that the opportunity to break is when you get the ball forwards early, the spaces are there against Bournemouth. They've just not allowed them that opportunity at the minute, Bournemouth. It's been brilliant from them, isn't it, the opening 25 minutes.
Here goes Semenyo down the right-hand side, plays it back to James Hill, and now Marcus Senesi on the halfway line. As we say, Bournemouth winless in their last 10, but they have been a tough nut to crack at home this season in terms of teams actually being able to win here. They've only lost once here in the Premier League this season. That was against Everton last month. And yes, that winless run, as we mentioned, is not a good one for Bournemouth. It's seen them slip from second at the start of November, well down the table. As Arsenal win a free kick just inside the Bournemouth half, and Antoine Semenyo has gone into the book for that little clip of the heels there.
Seeing Hincapié, he's done it a couple of times where he's almost bought the referee's attention with a fall, should we say, rather than dive, but it's something that Declan Rice recognises. The switch is on, Hincapié stepping into the space. Semenyo, he's saying I didn't touch him, and you're kind of feeling that there was very little contact, if any, in there.
Yeah, particularly for a yellow card as well. Foul is one thing, free kick is one thing. And yellow, not ideal for Bournemouth's top goal scorer, as Arsenal have it just inside their own half. It is a fascinating situation with Semenyo, isn't it? I'd love to get into it with you, Rob Green, and we will try and do so at some point, but at the moment it just feels like you can't really take your eyes off this game. Both sides really at it. It's been a really good encounter so far. 26 minutes gone. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 1, as Zubimendi picks it up and steers it back to David Raya. Bournemouth once more will just push those black and red shirts up towards the Arsenal penalty area. So Raya bypasses the midfield, over the halfway line he goes, out to the right-hand side. And it's picked up by Julian Timber. Midfield now to Victor Gyökeres. He's another with an interesting narrative around him at the moment, under a lot of scrutiny. Mikel Arteta defending him before this game in a pre-game interview, saying, look, the one thing he is missing at the moment is goals. He's got 7 for the season, Gyökeres, but he's doing other things well as Bournemouth pick it up again. Here is Alex Scott on the left-hand side. Arsenal just conceding possession a little bit too cheaply at the moment, as Bournemouth have it on the halfway line, 1-1.
Yeah, Zubimendi a couple of times. Once, a few seconds ago, he took a touch and it was a little bit wayward there. He loses it. He's thumping his own leg in frustration, and he's getting harried as much, if not more, than anybody else. Bournemouth targeting him because he's the man that they're going to in midfield. Straight from the centre-backs are saying, OK, you're our linchpin, you're our quarterback. And right, as soon as that ball gets on him, he's getting pressed.
Well defended that ball forward by Julian Timber. Chests it down. We'll try and send Arsenal forward once again. Here's Declan Rice. Picks it up on the halfway line. Mikel Arteta has just been told by fourth official Lewis Smith to make sure that he doesn't quite stray onto that left wing, the edge of his technical area, as Gyökeres will try and collect that ball. Can't keep it in, down by the byline, and it is a Bournemouth goal kick. So let's just have a little chat about Antoine Semenyo, Rob Green, because the situation is fascinating. This is what Andoni Iraola, the Bournemouth manager, said before this game. Basically, the idea is that he's going to be available for the game against Arsenal and the game against Tottenham on Wednesday. I hope he can be here more time, but I don't know what is going to happen. Now, we understand that Manchester City have agreed to meet his £65 million release clause. This clause expires in mid-January. Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, Tottenham also interested, but City the only ones as it stands who've made formal contact, and it is widely expected he'll go there. But in terms of his performance so far this evening and his willingness to start this game, his willingness to play this game, if his manager says, well, we want you to do this, you're still a Bournemouth player. So the ball goes out of play from Zubimendi, it's a Bournemouth throw. His professionalism does stand out, Antoine Semenyo.
Yeah, and you feel that it is, a communication from the club, and everyone's been open and honest. And you speak to professionals, and you just want honesty, you want communication, and with that clause in the contract there, it's there for a reason. Is that continuation of his career can happen, and you say, if you become a £65 million player, we will take that, and we will help run Bournemouth well for the next however many years with that money. And he'll say, fine. And actually, if that communication's gone on since then, it's been brilliant.
He's played the ball into Evan Nielsen. It's blocked on the edge of the penalty area. Evan Nielsen's drive by that man once again, Gabriel, who still is at the heart of everything that's happening at the moment, as Declan Rice tries to play it forward, looking for the run of Gyökeres, will be picked up by Tavernier, who evades the challenge of Odegaard quite brilliantly and then dinks it through. It was to the right of Evan Nielsen, who'd gone left, and Gabriel will clear only as far as Alex Jimenez. Half an hour gone here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds at the Vitality. It's 1-1 between Bournemouth and Arsenal. Kluivert's ball in, scooped over inside the 6-yard box by Marcus Tavernier.
It's really good pressing again from Bournemouth. Just Evan Nielsen blocking the clearance at first. He's injured himself in the process, I think, twisting his ankle, but getting the space down the right-hand side, and there's only one option for Kluivert to just drill it across the near post space, and Tavernier is beyond the near post on his left foot. He's therefore having to flick it with the outside of his boot. He can't really get the contact that he needs, but again, Bournemouth pressing, and since they conceded, they've been wonderful. You thought, how are Arsenal going to respond? Well, Bournemouth have responded brilliantly.
Evan Nielsen back up to his feet, and David Raya ready to get us underway. Just going back to Semenyo, I take your point about the overall feeling that he'll have about, listening to the club and that communication. And yes, if Bournemouth want the 65 million, it's a good deal for them. In some ways, it's a good deal for him. But as a player, if he picks up an injury here or against Tottenham, potentially, is that going to derail this potential move? And would you be frustrated if you think, look, if you're saying it's going to go ahead and that I can go? And again, we're speculating. We don't know exactly what's going on as Bournemouth win a free kick midway through their own half. Iraola saying as well, there is no deal signed. For sure there are conversations, but there's nothing signed. He's our player, we want to keep him. I mean, of course the manager's going to be saying that publicly, but from Semenyo's perspective, would you be slightly wary as a player? He's not playing like it, we have to say, but would that be in the back of your mind? Oh, if I get injured, what's going to happen here?
Not if it's been sold to you in the right way. Iraola sat down and had the conversation and said, look, just give us these 2 games and I promise you can leave. Then you say, okay, and he knows the conversations that has gone on between the clubs and the agreement that's gone on. He knows exactly where everything is. Whether he's playing at 90% or 95%, you're never quite sure. But I think you're looking at a player who's gone out and done the right thing, the club that's gone and done the right thing, and you buy all that. If you've got that open and honest conversation that I talk about, then you're feeling between a manager, a club and a player, you can come to the right conclusion.
Oh, lovely play again by Bournemouth down the left-hand side. Arsenal with defending to do, and they do it well with Gabriel clearing away. True first cross, the diving header, it's out for another Bournemouth corner. 1-1. Bournemouth are playing some lovely stuff.
Yeah, really good combination play. David Brooks just stepping inside and showing the option, if he can, to say, well, lay it into my feet. Truefair going on behind here and saying, don't worry about it, just be direct again. Let's go for it. They've gone for it, won themselves a corner.
So Kluivert takes it short this time over on the far side to David Brooks, left-hand side of the area. Oh, it's flicked across his own penalty area there by Declan Rice, and out of play for another Bournemouth corner. 1-1.
Well, Arsenal know they're in a game at the minute, and they know that at the moment they've just got to dig in, because Declan Rice is waving to his teammates to say, right, let's raise it a level, let's match them at the minute, because at the moment they're under the pump.
And everybody is inside their own penalty area for Arsenal. There's no outlet. Madueke, the furthest forward, is on the edge of his own box as they look to defend this corner. Chris Kavanagh has seen some pushing and shoving, so is just telling David Brooks to wait for now as he prepares to take this corner from the near side. 12 minutes to go until half-time. 1-1 between Bournemouth and Arsenal as Brooks swings it in. It's high, it's looping. It's a brilliant catch by David Raya.
Yeah, fantastic, and he's released Declan Rice.
And Arsenal spring the counter. Here goes Rice, powerful driving run. Out to the right-hand side he goes. He was claiming he was fouled there. The ball to Madueke didn't make it. Chris Kavanagh not interested. Rice still appealing for a free kick. He's screaming at Chris Kavanagh, Declan Rice. And Chris Kavanagh, for now, is ignoring him as Bournemouth have it just inside their own half. Down the right-hand side they go with Alex Jimenez. Such a tempo to this game. 1-1 on 5 Live and BBC Sounds between Bournemouth and the league leaders Arsenal. Kluivert lays it off for Tavernier, drives, blocked just inside the Arsenal area and comes back once more to Bournemouth. This time Marcos Senesi has it midway through the Arsenal half. They're dropping deep Arsenal. Gyökeres now putting on the pressure as the home fans raise their voices once again. 10 games they've gone without a win, but they've only tasted defeat once here at home in the Premier League this season, Bournemouth, and they are going toe-to-toe and then some with Arsenal, the league leaders, as Tavernier has it 25 yards out, slides it into the area. Kluivert went down, didn't appeal initially, then tumbled a little more awkwardly. Now he's getting back up to his feet again. Chris Kavanagh not interested. Arsenal clear all the way through to Bournemouth's goalkeeper Petrovic, who sends it forward. David Brooks just inside the Arsenal area. David Raya claims it. Every time I try and bring you in, Rob Green, something else happens.
You can't take your eyes off it, can you? Because Bournemouth are so intense and they're just so intent on attacking. It's really good from Declan Rice to drive away with David Raya when he had the ball. He's being held back by 2 Bournemouth players. I'm not sure how Chris Kavanagh didn't see that, but he had a point. And then Arsenal on the defensive side of things, Declan Rice coming back and blocking off Kluivert did really well just to track the run. At the moment, as he's saying, they are pressing and pressing and pressing, and Arsenal cannot get out.
9 minutes to play in this first half here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 1. Arsenal with the chance to go 6 points clear of Aston Villa this evening and 7 points clear of Manchester City ahead of their game against Chelsea tomorrow. That's at 5:30. We'll have full commentary on 5 Live. Before that, we'll bring you commentary from Craven Cottage as Fulham take on Liverpool as David Raya clears a little bit nervily for those Arsenal fans, but it didn't find Tavernier. It did find Arsenal players over on that right hand side, and Madueke now will steer it in field to Martin Ødegaard just outside the centre circle. 1-1 as Madueke picks it up once more. He's got Truffert there for company, wide right midway through the Bournemouth half. Madueke, one of 3 Arsenal changes for this game with Saka and Trossard. 2 of those dropped to the bench. Plays it infield to Ødegaard, and now Zubimendi. Arsenal just slow the play down, looking to pick the lock. Martinelli picks it up, left-hand side, up against Jimenez, who does well in holding him up, but Martinelli with a little 360, almost got past him and drove to the byline. Can't do so. Now to swing the ball into the area, cleared away by Alex Scott. Saliba's there, pushed up midway through the Bournemouth half and does really well to control that ahead of Evan Nielsen, who can't snatch it away from Ødegaard, and Arsenal have played their way out from underneath a fair bit of pressure there, and had they lost it there, Bournemouth would have been away, but they haven't. They played it out to the left-hand side with Ødegaard, finding Martinelli. Iraola and Arteta both stand on the edge of their dotted technical areas. Good play by Martinelli, plays the ball into the area, it's cleared away again by Alex Scott. Martinelli went down, only earned a wag of the finger from referee Chris Kavanagh, and Saliba has it in the centre circle. 1-1.
Yeah, you're looking at Martinelli, he's had very little impact on the game. He's getting the ball again, but twice he's tried to just step inside on Jimenez and tries putting poor crosses. He stepped inside on him this time. I can't believe he's given away the foul there, because it was so predictable. I was just about to say, it's a little bit predictable from Martinelli, but it's the first bit of control Arsenal have had since scoring the goal, since the response, and it's been a fascinating game so far, because the way that Arsenal are playing across the back, there's the opportunity to play the ball through the lines, but Bournemouth have just tweaked it in midfield, where one of the midfielders is dropping 5 yards, the other one's going in, so all of a sudden they're not so square. And so that channel is being cut off each time, and they're having to makes it that little bit harder. One has to go, one has to stay, then they have to switch and back again. But it's working for Bournemouth. So
7 minutes to go until the break. 1-1. Arsenal with the free kick midway through the Bournemouth half, left-hand side. Rice swings it in. Good delivery. Did that brush up a Bournemouth head? Arsenal are appealing for it. Did look like it did from our commentary position, but it's been given as a Bournemouth goal kick by referee Chris Kavanagh.
I mean, Chris Kavanagh's he's in a really good position on the middle of the pitch, and he's 20 yards away. We're 80 yards away. We can see it. Yeah, it's fantastic sometimes how football deceives people.
So, Arsenal win back possession on the halfway line. They have it now with Saliba. Arsenal looking to go 6 points clear of Aston Villa, 7 points clear of Manchester City. Against the Bournemouth side who did the double over Arsenal last season. 2-0 they won here. Saliba, to be fair, did get sent off after half an hour at 0-0, so that certainly affecting the composition of the game and the way it planned out. But 2-1 winners at the Emirates as well. Arsenal's first ever home defeat by Bournemouth in their history. It's 1-1 here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds as Arsenal have it just inside their own half. Rob Green.
Yeah, Zubimendi was the one dictating play, and Odegaard's actually swapped with him because Zubimendi was struggling under the press. I'm not sure he's quite got the awareness of Odegaard, so Odegaard's now dictating.
Nice work between Martinelli and Nkapie, but Nkapie won't keep that ball in, and it goes behind for a Bournemouth goal kick. Just watching Antoine Semenyo, and the yellow card trotting back towards the halfway line. We've talked about it from Bournemouth's perspective and his perspective. Somebody, Mark Scott, who's commentating for Match of the Day today, made the very good point to me in the press room that, of course, Manchester City might look at this game and think, you know what, actually, we'd rather Antoine Semenyo played against Arsenal for, some strange reason, and then maybe he can come. But Bournemouth certainly wanted to play against Tottenham in midweek as well. Yeah,
and you're thinking, also, it might buy us a couple of weeks with a guaranteed 65 million to find someone else, get that deal over the line.
Here goes Semenyo, right hand side. Again, we're saying that Iraola has said nothing is signed yet. Nice little 1-2, and Semenyo from the edge of the area scoops the ball over the bar.
Yeah, wrong choice from Semenyo. You're feeling take it on, get another touch in and get it under control. The ball back to him was a little bit bobbly, a little bit bounced into him. It's hard to want to control from there, but really good, interesting play from Bournemouth, give and goes and combinations, plays from out wide.
So Arsenal in possession inside their own penalty area. David Raya will clear out to the right hand side. 4 minutes plus added time to play in this first half. It's 1-1 after quite a dramatic day in the Premier League and the Scottish Premiership. Celtic 1-0 up at half time, losing the Old Firm derby. 3-1 to Rangers. Had his 6 defeats in his first 8 games for the Celtic boss, Wilfred Nancy. Looking very bleak indeed for him. And it leaves Hearts 6 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership as Arsenal play the ball into the area. And the offside flag is up. It was the pressure from Martinelli, but the flag up anyway, and Bournemouth have a free kick inside their own penalty area. 1-1.
Yeah, good defending. A little bit stayed from Arsenal. Martinelli gave it to Odegaard and then he went, and everybody could see where he was going and could read it, and he ran clean offside. But just looking at him and Gyökeres at half-time, Mikel Arteta, he's got so many options on the bench. You're looking at Trossard, and he obviously got Jesus coming back to fitness, and the impact he's made, just his movement, supposedly, as opposed to Gyökeres, who's a bit more of a battering ram. You say his movement away from the centre-forward position, that combination that he can bring, might be something that Mikel Arteta looks at towards the second half.
Saliba clears away up towards the halfway line. It's cleared away at the back by James Hill, brought down by Declan Rice for Arsenal, tussling with Kluivert, who bounces into the arms of Mikel Arteta. And he thought that was an Arsenal throw, Declan Rice, but it's gone the way of Bournemouth, and Alex Jimenez steps forward to take it just inside the Arsenal half on this right hand side. 2.5 minutes to play in this first half here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 1. Out to the left hand side go Bournemouth, and they find Truffert in field now to Alex Scott, closed down by Declan Rice just inside the Bournemouth half. Tavernier will send it forward. Evan Nielsen looks offside there. It went out to the left instead, and David Brooks. Arsenal make the interception with Declan Rice. He was then pressured by Scott, and ball goes out of play for an Arsenal throw. Rob Green.
Yeah, you don't mind that though. I tell you what, you'd rather Declan Rice be on his knees facing his own fans 80 yards from your goal than turning, and you're allowing him to turn and run at you, give away a foul, give away a throw-in, whatever it might be. They've not left out anything out on the pitch, have they, Bournemouth? You're feeling they put everything into this first half. How long they can keep this going for, I'm not sure. We saw against Chelsea and really did have to sit and suffer in the second half and dig out a result. Well, I'll tell you what, today they've gone about it in a really good way.
Arsenal in possession, out to the left-hand side, and Gabriel Martinelli controls right in front of the Bournemouth boss, Antonio Iraola, as Gabriel, under pressure from Semenyo, sends it back to David Raya, who takes a touch out of his penalty area and then clears up towards halfway, tipping header by James Hill, but it's only gone to Gyökeres, who's fed Martinelli, and Arsenal are streaming forward. Martinelli's ball across, it's cleared away by Truffert. Madueke was waiting right behind him. It's a vital interception by Truffert for Bournemouth, and Semenyo has it for them now, but he's given it away with a loose touch. Iraola's furious on the touchline, and Arsenal might get a chance here at the end of this first half to hit the break ahead. Zubimendi has it, plays it to Declan Rice, 20 yards out, just outside the Bournemouth penalty area on the left-hand side as they work it back to Zubimendi. Now on the halfway line, it's William Saliba out to the right-hand side. Timber forward now to Noni Madueke, who cuts infield from that right-hand side. Zubimendi will pick it up now and send it out to the left-hand side. Nkapie, plenty of white shirts forward for Arsenal. Nkapie, though, delays the cross. They're just again looking for that perfect angle at the moment, Arsenal, trying to unlock this Bournemouth back line. 1-1 as we approach out of time at the end of the first half here, and Arsenal give the ball away. Odegaard won't reach that pass, and David Brooks has it midway through the Bournemouth half and sends it back to Adrian Truffert. Over the halfway line he goes, looking for the run of Justin Kluivert. It's headed away by Saliba, sent back forward by Bournemouth, but nobody's up there in a black and red shirt as we enter 2 minutes of added time at the end of what has been a frenetic, fast-paced and very enjoyable first half. 1-1, and Arsenal have it with Rice midway through their own half.
Yeah, you're just feeling Bournemouth are just having a breather in their shape and just saying, OK, we'll see it through to half-time now, and you kind of don't blame them because they put so much into this first half. They've been brilliant. They got gifted that goal, yes, but they have been pressing, harrying the Arsenal backline, the midfield. They've not quite really come up with an answer yet, Arsenal. They're still looking at each other when they've got the ball to say, where's the movement going to come from? Where's the option? That little tweak that they had for after very early on from Bournemouth just in the midfield has worked a treat.
And Bournemouth make the block just inside the Arsenal half, and Semenyo has it on the right-hand side. Infield won't find Kluivert, will find Alex Scott, who's bursting forward, goes down under a bit of pressure from Nkapie. Chris Kavanagh not interested. Eventually Arsenal get it away with Rice. Nkapie's down, but getting back up to his feet. Martinelli has it and plays it out to the right-hand side and Saliba. Arsenal still inside their own half, but over the halfway line now they go with Noni Madueke. Taking on David Brooks, cuts infield again from that right-hand side and then goes back out to the right-hand touchline. Timber's forward in support, and here he is, Jurriën Timber. Now lays it off to Odegaard, who plays it centrally to Zubimendi, and now to the left-hand side as Arsenal continue to press and probe that Bournemouth back line. Gabriel sends it forward, little deflection off Kluivert, will take it through to George Petrovic as Andoni Iraola watches on the touchline. He said before this game, you look at a lot of Arsenal's games this season, it's like the opposition didn't even arrive. Well, his Bournemouth side have certainly showed up today.
Yeah, they've been brilliant. They've been brilliant in this first half. That pass wasn't.
Now they've given the ball away straight to Declan Rice just outside the area, lays it off to Odegaard, looking to get the shot away, can't do so eventually, so feeds it out to the left-hand side, and Martinelli back to Odegaard, out of the penalty area he's forced now, back to a central position, trying to decide what to do here, Odegaard, as Nkapie will pick it up on this left-hand side. Iraola is not happy that we continue to play, and in the end, because Arsenal didn't get the ball into the box, Chris Kavanagh says, right, that's it, that's your minimum 2 added minutes. That's half-time. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 1. Rob Green.
Yeah, brilliant first half, and you're thinking that Bournemouth really have come to the party. They've pressed and harried Arsenal. That's how they got the first goal, forcing the mistake from Gabriel. And then Arsenal responded really, really well. But just when Bournemouth thought they could start to play out, start to control the game, they responded with a response from Gabriel to his mistake. And then again, Bournemouth up the game, up the tempo, and they've been more than a match at the minute for Arsenal.
Really entertaining game here, thoroughly enjoying it at the Vitality, and we hope you are too. Half time, it is 1-1 between Bournemouth and Arsenal.
And we'll be back for the second half. Elsewhere today, first Premier League win of the season for Wolves. They beat West Ham 3-0 at Molineux. John McGinn got 2 of Aston Villa's goals as they went second with a 3-1 win at home to Nottingham Forest. Brighton saw off Burnley 2-0. Hearts are now 6 clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership after they beat bottom club Livingston 1-0. The big story in Scotland, though, coming at Celtic Park. Rangers coming from behind to win the Old Firm 3-1. Celtic booed off. Supporters waited outside the ground afterwards to vent their anger at the board and the directors. And that story will rumble on, no doubt. And Chris Sutton is here for 606 later. You will want to talk to him, I am sure. 08085 909 6-9-3. In the Gallagher Prem, Bath scored a last-minute try to win a cracking match against Exeter by 33 points to 26. It took them to the top of the table. Northampton likely to replace them, though, because as they approach half-time, there they lead Harlequins by 33 points to 14. We'll get some reaction to the day's football to come after Jill Mackenzie in the news at 6:20.
The Voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
President Trump says the US will run Venezuela until an orderly and safe transition can be agreed. The US launched strikes on Venezuela this morning, mainly centred on the capital, Caracas, and captured the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife. President Trump spoke to reporters this afternoon.
We're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it, essentially, until such time as a proper transition can take place. As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if we needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually.
Just before the press conference, President Trump shared a photo he said was of President Maduro, blindfolded and wearing ear defenders on board a US ship. He's been charged with drug trafficking offences, and the US says he'll face justice in New York. Maduro's previously denied leading a drug cartel. Venezuela has declared a national emergency, describing the US strikes as extremely serious military aggression. Ana Vanessa Herrero is a journalist in Caracas.
It is not clear if we, for example, are going to have curfew. I think that information is going to come, but I am seeing people very worried. The people I've talked to claim that, they need to be ready because they don't know what's going to happen in the next few hours, let alone in the next few days.
Sir Keir Starmer's refused to condemn the American action or say whether it breached international law. The Prime Minister told the BBC he doesn't yet have the full picture, but confirmed there was no British involvement in the strikes. There's more in this story on the BBC News website, and you can listen to more coverage via the live news stream on BBC Sounds. In other news, prosecutors in Switzerland say the two managers of the bar where there was a fatal fire early on New Year's Day are now under criminal investigation, suspected of manslaughter by negligence. 40 people were killed and 119 injured in the ski resort of Crans-Montana. And Coast Guards have stood down their search for a third person in the sea off East Yorkshire. A major search and rescue operation was launched yesterday at Withensea. 2 bodies were recovered last night.
Hello, welcome to Five Live Breakfast. Lots going on this morning.
Kick off your morning with the biggest stories and the headlines everyone's talking about.
We'll dig into what's happening and exactly what it means for you.
I've seen a lot of speculation and I would be very, very hesitant about standing that up.
This is Five Live Breakfast.
And we're on the ground at the world's biggest sporting events.
Bringing you reaction, insight and exclusive interviews.
What a ridiculous game of cricket it was. It was ludicrous in so many ways.
Wake up with Five Live Breakfast every morning from 6.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is Five Live Sports with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
We'll be back at the Vitality Stadium shortly, where it's Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 1 at the break. Let's bring you some reaction to the rest of the day's football. We'll start at Molineux. Wolves have their first Premier League win of the season. They beat West Ham 3-0. Here's Rob Edwards with Chris Sykes.
Rob, you said in your programme notes today that you were fed up of losing. Well, you won't be fed up tonight, I'd imagine.
No, it's obviously a nice feeling. But again, keep our feet on the floor. It's one win and that's all it is. we're progressing, we're improving.
Nevertheless, the fact that it is the first league win of the season, and we saw the reaction at the end there, is it a big relief?
Yeah, of course. It's been going on a long time, too long. We've been in here around, 7 weeks or so, around the time maybe of a pre-season. So I feel like we've been improving. I feel like our performances have been maybe meriting more than what they've got. Today we got our rewards.
I have to ask you about Matthias Mane. I mean, a goal, and he helped set up another one as well. I mean, he was fantastic today. Yeah,
he was really good. He's an exciting young player. We obviously want to keep his feet on the floor, but at the same time keep believing in himself and what he's doing. He's got brilliant qualities. He's not just really good quality in the goal and stuff like that we saw, but he's really selfless. He works incredibly hard. He's about the team. Deserves all the plaudits that he's going to get and is getting at the moment. And he's got a really bright future.
And just finally from me, obviously we've got another game in midweek as well, so a good chance to kind of continue the momentum.
It is. It's been a good week. We've had good performance at Anfield, good performance at Old Trafford, got something from that, and a good performance and win today. So look, today was for the fans. They've had it really, really difficult. Today was for them. It's like a new year, maybe a bit of a fresh start. The players responded. Today felt good. The whole energy in the stadium felt good. So, it's a nice feeling and a good day.
It most definitely isn't good for West Ham. 4 points off Nottingham Forest now. They stay in 18th. Here's Nuno.
Many things went wrong. We started the game very bad, conceding, mistakes, no reaction, poor performance. Nobody expected. Recently we've been performing much better, but today we started bad, and the first half was a continuation of mistakes, over and over mistakes.
Why didn't you perform to that level?
I wish I could answer you. But it's up to us now to try and find in ourselves the enough strength to recover from such a bad day like today.
Up next we've got Nottingham Forest. That's a huge game for you, and a quick turnaround as well, with it being on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game, and we must improve so many things.
And just finally from me, we're into January now, we've got the transfer window. What message can you give the fans to kind of assure them that you're the right person to lead them through this window?
It's not about, it's everybody. It's everybody at the club realising tough position that we are, tough situation that we are. Yes, it's a transfer window. The club is working to try and really balance the squad, and we need options. We need better options, because what we have not is not enough.
So West Ham lost, Nottingham Forest were beaten 3-1 at Aston Villa, and Burnley lost as well. 2-0 at Brighton. Scott Parker's side now 6 points from safety.
Poor performance today, really. Yeah, I thought generally we was never in the game today, and I thought the first time I looked at us really, and I thought we lacked a little belief today, to be honest with you. So I think that's the major thing that's residing in my head at the moment, a real a lack of belief, really. It was only 3 days ago that we lost the game against Newcastle, but there was a real belief there, a real desire, and today we just lack that a little bit, and we need to work out why that is.
Yeah, how concerning is that, and why do you think it was like that today?
I don't know. I need to reflect a little bit. Look, we're going through some real injuries at the moment, and the squad, in terms of where it is extremely light, and I think you see that in terms of the squad today. Quick turnaround in games which is a highly competitive and physical league, and maybe there's a factor in that in terms of it. Leslie obviously was ill, but like I said, I can't hold on to that, to be honest with you. Like I said, I thought there was just a lack of real belief. I felt that we came here today, and as soon as that first whistle went, I didn't look at us as a team that felt that we could go and impose ourselves on Brighton. I thought it was the opposite.
John Southall with the questions to Scott Parker. Next, John McGinn, who got 2 of Villa's goals to take them second in the table after a 3-1 win over Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, it was a tough first half. Obviously, Forest came and sat in a little bit, tried to make it hard for us, which they did. They defended very well. Their centre-backs defend the goal with their life, and we need a bit of magic to open to break the deadlock, and Ollie produced that. So to go in at half-time 1-0 certainly changed the game and made us a lot freer in the second half and gives a lot more space to play.
And you in particular with those 2 goals?
The manager pushes me a lot. He's very demanding. He says I should be scoring more goals, getting in better positions, and we do a lot of analysis. And this morning he pushed me hard to get in those positions, and thankfully today I've managed to get 2 goals. So hopefully he'll get off my back a wee bit.
And overall, I mean, that's 11 home wins in a row. That hasn't been done for 36 years here.
It's mad that the records we keep breaking. We're building something special here. We're obviously second in the league. How long we're second for, we don't know, but we just seem to be building, breaking more records, becoming more complete as a squad, as a team. It was a disappointing night the other night, but we reacted well. We've got a really tough game midweek, a place that's it's been difficult for us the past few seasons, so hopefully we can continue this run. Villa Park's a fortress at the minute, and hopefully it can continue.
If we turn our attention to the Scottish Premiership, Celtic fans gathered outside the stadium after their 3-1 defeat to Rangers at lunchtime. They were protesting against the board. The pressure builds on their new manager, Wilfred Nancy, as well as his poor run of results continued. Pat Nevin was part of our commentary team at the game.
Well, a number of things happened. Celtic were excellent in the first half. I mean, really excellent. Apart from their finishing, which was hopeless. Rangers were really poor in the first half. They looked quite amateurish at times. They looked very young. They looked very naive. Defending was almost laughable. And then they came out in the second half and the managers made changes. Celtic dropped off a little bit and they just attacked them. And the going manager had a half time to make a difference and did. And the other manager, the Celtic manager, had to keep his team playing the same way and wasn't able to do that. So that was a big difference. It wasn't big, massive tactical changes, because there are no tactical changes with Celtic. They always keep on doing exactly the same thing. So tactically, Celtic's new manager, Wilfred Nancy, lost badly, not just on the field, but on the tactical side too.
This is his 8th game in charge, 6 defeats. That's a whole other level of bad. That is horror stuff for Celtic.
It's bordering on unthinkable for Celtic in the modern era. And you consider, Celtic haven't spent huge sums of money in comparison with, English teams or whatever. In comparison with the Scottish teams, they should be miles ahead. I mean, absolutely, there's so much more money to spend and have spent it, but it hasn't been spent, obviously, wisely enough. But is it the money? Is it the spending? Here's a thought for you. Martin O'Neill was in charge for 8 games. He won 7 and lost 1. He has given over to a new manager who's been in charge for 8 games. He's lost 6 and won 2. Same players. Exactly the same players.
Conor McNamara alongside Pat Nevin. Their Hearts 6 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership after a 1-0 win at Tynecastle over bottom side Livingston. Plenty to talk about on 606 08 085 909 693. They're on the way at the conclusion of the game at the Vitality Stadium. More live sports come later. Got the final of the World Darts, and then TMS on air for the first day of the final test in Sydney, 5 to 11 on Sports Extra. Teams back out at Bournemouth. They're level 1-1 with Arsenal. Back to Rob and Vicky.
Thanks very much, Mark. Yes, welcome back to a bitterly cold South Coast Vitality Stadium. No changes for either side at half-time. And Rob Green, all we can do is hope that the second half lives up to the first.
Yeah, it's absolutely. It's really lively. Really good performance from Bournemouth, and Arsenal with some answers to come up with. You're just wondering whether they were going to make some changes, but Trossard, we saw on our screens, wandering out with his shirt in his hand rather than on his back, and just thinking, OK, what adjustments can you make? Because I think they need to make a few.
So Arsenal get us underway in this second half, playing from left to right in their change strip of the white shirts, the burgundy shorts and the white socks. Bournemouth in their home kit, the red and black striped shirts, the black shorts and the black socks. And Bournemouth have won a throw over on the far side. So They have Petrovic in goal, the back four of Jimenez, Hill, Senesi and Truffert, Tavernier and Scott ahead of them, with Brooks, Kluivert and Semenyo starting despite that much mooted move to Manchester City later in this transfer window. We wait to see if that will materialise. Supporting Evan Nielsen up front, Evan Nielsen who scored the early goal on 10 minutes to put Bournemouth ahead after a shocking pass straight to him by Gabriel, but it was Gabriel who equalised 6 minutes later, a very sweet strike after the ball was bobbling around in the area. And that is why we begin the second half 1-1. Arsenal want to throw over on the far side. Nkapie is being told to take it a little bit further back by Chris Kavanagh. So Raya in goal for Arsenal, the back four of Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and Nkapie. Ahead of them, Ødegaard, Zubimendi and Rice, recovered from that knee injury that saw him miss the win over Villa. Martinelli, Gyökeres and Madueke. Up top, they've got the likes of Saka and Trossard and Eza on the bench. Arsenal, no Kai Havertz in the squad today, only just back on the bench. Last match against Villa, hasn't played since the opening weekend of the season because of that knee injury. They're just managing his workload at the moment, Arsenal is. They look to come down this left-hand side, ball into the area is claimed by Petrovic. A quarter of a half-hearted shout, I should say, really, from those Arsenal fans on the far side for a possible back pass, but it was just a clearance. It was claimed by Petrovic. A looping one. Chris Kavanagh not interested, and Arsenal come again down this right-hand side with Ødegaard. Lovely hook ball into the area to find Declan Rice. Right-hand side up against Alex Scott, who blocks that really well, spins away, prevents the corner and prevents the throw as well. Very good defending by the Bournemouth midfielder, but Ødegaard wins it back again, heads it straight to Evan Nielsen. He's dispossessed by Zubimendi. Saliba there trying to retain possession for Arsenal. Then he's barged over the Arsenal centre-half midway through the Bournemouth half. Arsenal win a free kick, and that shows that positioning of Saliba in that attack there, how much Arsenal are starting on the front foot in this second period.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Vicky, that they are on the front foot, and they've actually taken on what Bournemouth were doing in the first half and saying, right, we're just going to play in your half, we're just going to step on and not allow you out. And Bournemouth, they have not been out of their half yet, just struggling to get a foothold in the game again.
So Arsenal, having come from behind here at the Vitality on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, looking to take the lead early in this second half as Ødegaard standing over this free kick, wide right position midway through the Bournemouth half. There are 4 Arsenal players in their white shirts lined up on the edge of the area, 5 in fact, as they now run towards the edge of the box. It's flicked up by Nkapie inside the area, trying to get a shot off is William Saliba, but can't do so. And then Semenyo, good defending, might have gone out of play, but referee Chris Kavanagh says no. Semenyo will clear, but only as far as Declan Rice midway through the Bournemouth half, who steers it back to Ødegaard. And now Arsenal have it on halfway. I did feel rather sorry for a little Bournemouth fan that we saw a shot of just at half-time. He held up a sign that he'd made himself. It says, "Antoine, can I have your shirt, please? Because you won't need it." Sad face. Thanks for the memories.
Well, he needs it for another half hour, he hopes, at least. Yeah, he's here and enjoying while he's still here. He's had a quiet start to the second half, as have Bournemouth, but they're starting to get the foothold.
Yeah, they're hoping he'll be available for the Tottenham game as well. Ando Iraola saying nothing is signed yet. And here he is on the right-hand side, played the ball into the area. It's just behind the runner. Jimenez getting forward. And Arsenal clear, but only as far as James Hill, who picks it up just inside the Bournemouth half. Rob Green.
Yeah, Semenyo's free. He's the spare man way out on the far side for us, out on the right-hand side. And Nkapie tucking in. That's where Arsenal are having their joy. They can step and make the pitch as small as they can. But Semenyo's at that out ball at the minute. But Bournemouth really don't want to hit that long diagonal. They've got to get it a little bit closer to him before they hit the ball.
Out to the left-hand side goes Petrovic. It's cleared away by Timber, brought down nicely by Declan Rice on the halfway line, and laid off now to Zubimendi. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 1. As it stands, Arsenal will finish the day in the same position as they started in relation to Aston Villa, 4 points clear of them. Manchester City will have chance to close that gap when they play Chelsea tomorrow. You can hear that game on 5 Live at 5:30. We'll be at Craven Cottage before that. 3 o'clock, Fulham against Liverpool, as Arsenal have the ball midway through the Bournemouth half. With Declan Rice, slows the play down and looking for options. And goes all the way back to the halfway line, and Gabriel out to the left-hand side. He worked it now, and Gabriel has it once more on the halfway line. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 1 here. Tomorrow, if you tune over to our Sports Extra channels, you can listen to all the Premier League games. In fact, Tottenham against Sunderland, Everton against Brentford, and Newcastle against Crystal Palace. Just go to BBC Sounds and scroll through the stations until you find the game you are looking for. As Arsenal have it on halfway once more with Gabriel, Rob Green.
Yeah, they've just been passing it amongst themselves at the back. Declan Rice, Zubimendi and Gabriel just controlling the ball, controlling the game, looking for some movement, looking for some answers. And just down on this right-hand side is where they're normally drawn to. It's not happening right now. Hincapie's stepped right up into almost an inside left position, and Semenyo's tracked him all the way back. This is what Bournemouth were good at when they worked themselves out, is to commit the men not just forward at the right time, but when to drop and who to drop.
Here goes Martinelli down the left-hand side, won't keep that ball in, well marshalled by Alex Jimenez. And it's a throw to Bournemouth deep in their own territory.
Yeah, it forces Arsenal to make that long raking pass, and it doesn't really work out. I think Madueke had moments in the first half, didn't he? But that understanding with Ødegaard and Timber isn't quite the same as what Saka's got, and Trossard is, Martinelli brings something different to Trossard at the minute, and it's just not as fluent as what Arsenal would have liked.
Arsenal in possession as that ball from Bournemouth is cleared over the top inside the centre circle with Zubimendi. Arsenal, who have won their last 6 games in all competitions, including that penalty shootout victory against Crystal Palace in the League Cup quarter-finals. It's always a strange one when people win on penalties when it comes to stats, but you don't draw a game on penalties, do you? You win it. So they have won their last 6 games in all competition.
Oh, they're still in the cup, aren't they? So they take the win as well. They take that, going into 1-1, and they take the penalties.
Evanilson down, wins the free kick for Bournemouth just inside the Bournemouth half, and it's taken quickly by Kluivert. That's a really good decision. David Brooks is in, down the left-hand side to the byline. What a tight angle just past that far post. Really, really clever by Justin Kluivert, taking that free kick so quickly, releasing Brooks down the left-hand side, almost down to the byline by the time he took the shot. But I tell you what, even a cross goal from such a tight angle, it wasn't too far away from Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 1.
No, it's a beautifully weighted ball by Kluivert, and Brooks is on his own down the left-hand side, and he's thinking, I'll tell you what, I've got nothing on, I'm just going to go for it. Goes for the far post. David Wright had it all covered, he was comfortable, but just that threat of going in behind to say, OK, you know what, we can still do it, we can still ask that question, still brings up the question of 2 Arsenal, brings up that element of doubt in the game.
Yeah, he reached out a white glove and then snatched it away, David Raya, aware it was going wide and didn't want to touch it behind, as Gyökeres into the area at the other end, lays it off to Ødegaard, who lays it off to Rice! 2-1 Arsenal! Superb strike from the edge of the area by Declan Rice, back in the side after recovering from that knock that saw him miss the game against Villa. And he has fired Arsenal into a 2-1 lead here at Bournemouth, and could be sending them 6 points clear at the top of the table tonight. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 2.
Well, it's a beautifully weighted finish from Declan Rice, but the presence of Gyökeres out front, the nuisance factor of having a number 9 initially to challenge for the first ball and then for the second ball as well, doesn't allow Bournemouth to clear. And then from there, the composure, Ødegaard just to lay it off to Declan Rice, and he's got the time, he's got the composure on the edge of the box just to allow himself to steady himself. A one-touch finish that was never in question from Declan Rice into the corner. Just when you're thinking, were Arsenal able to come up with some answers? Well, straight down the middle, hit the big man, pick up the pieces, and go from there. It's a good answer for Arsenal.
Big clenched double fist from Mikel Arteta in celebration on the touchline. 3rd goal of the season for Declan Rice, and it was a superbly executed finish, picking his spot, steering it into the bottom corner. And Arsenal have come from behind here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds to lead Bournemouth by 2-1, and they're coming forward again. Here's Ødegaard, still just inside his own half, but now the white shirts are flooding forward. That wasn't the best ball though from Ødegaard, cleared away by James Hill. But just want to get your thoughts on Gyökeres, Rob Green. In fact, we'll do that in a moment, because Bournemouth have actually kept that ball in on the far side. It's with Jimenez under pressure inside his own half, and that's really beautifully done. It was almost stolen away from him by Ødegaard, but lovely play by Jimenez to retain possession and release Brooks down this left-hand side, and he plays it forward looking for True Fair, plays it into Madueke. It's going to be a corner. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 2.
Yeah, good from Bournemouth. Good expansive play. Willing to run on Truffert. He's terrific down the left-hand side, but just out-muscled by Madueke. But you're wondering, Bournemouth played so well since scoring, played so well in the first half. They're still losing.
What can Justin Kluivert do to change that? The corner is swung to the far post. It's cleared away powerfully by Arsenal and Gabriel. As Jimenez will pick it up on the centre circle under pressure from Martinelli. Does well. Out to the right-hand side he goes, and Tavernier. Nice turn by Jimenez on the right-hand side, but the delivery is poor and it will go all the way out of play. In fact, for a throw to Arsenal. That's how poor that delivery was. And Arsenal with a throw deep inside their own territory. But yeah, just going back to Gyökeres there and the role that he played in the goal that you mentioned there, Rob. Mentioned earlier in this game, Mikel Arteta saying, look, one thing he's missing at the moment is more goals, but he's doing other things well. How would you assess his contribution to Arsenal this season since arriving from Sporting Lisbon, having scored that ridiculous number of goals for them across the last 2 seasons?
Well, the weight of expectation was there, wasn't it, when he signed? It's big money, but it's not in relative terms, and it's just a player that I don't think is, when you're talking of European elite, I don't think he's just there. That's not his fault. He's not that good a player. But at the minute, he is a centre forward. He has been playing, and where would they be without him? They wouldn't have. They've had Marino and no one else up front. So, you know what? You'd rather have him than not right now. He's struggled in the game today. He's struggled to make an impact. Hill and Senesi have done really well up against him up until that point. And you only need one moment as a centre forward. And it wasn't even a clean win. It was just a scruffy knockdown that they could be able to play off. But it was his presence that proved the difference.
And up to the left-hand side go Bournemouth and Truffert, just inside the Arsenal half. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 2. As Hill spreads it out now to the right-hand side, and Antoine Semenyo gets past Nkapie really well. Semenyo driving towards the penalty area, pulls the ball across. What a dangerous ball. Brilliant challenge by Timber on Brooks at the far post, with David Raya scrambling across to try and narrow the angle as well. Oh, that's a fabulous challenge by Jurriën Timber, because Brooks was waiting there on the angle for the tap, and it's a Bournemouth corner. It's Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 2.
Well, that's what you're getting for your money. For Semenyo, from nowhere, from the touchline, all of a sudden he's rolling the ball across the 6-yard box. Not sure why Evan Nielsen made the run that he did. He needed to get in the middle of the goal.
Should have been a goal kick. It is a Bournemouth corner, and it's just about cleared away off the line by Arsenal. Comes to Jimenez, 25 yards out, shoots. Collected in the area almost by Semenyo, his teammate, who rather got in the way. It's out on the left-hand side now with Kluivert. Good delivery, flicked up again by Bournemouth. Zubimendi gets a foot on it, and now Arsenal can counter. James Hill gets a foot in, wins it back to stop Odegaard breaking away. And here come Bournemouth again. It's Tavernier with the low drive straight into the arms of David Raya. Yes, and then David Raya was looking for the quick release. Evan Nielsen has blocked him off. It's a free kick given by Chris Kavanagh. No further punishment. As we say, actually the clearance from Timber bounced off the foot of David Brooks, so it should have been an Arsenal goal kick anyway. In the end, they've got a free kick inside their own penalty area, and it's still Arsenal who lead Bournemouth by 2-1.
Yeah, we got there in the end, didn't we, really, with David Raya having the ball at his feet and Arsenal pushing up and away as it should have been before that passage of play. Well, they're still going, Bournemouth. They're still showing signs of belief and willingness to get forward and ask questions, and whilst they've still got the energy, this game is no way, shape or form out the question.
The ball has found its way through to the Bournemouth number 1 Petrovic, and plays it forward to Alex Scott. Lines open now, remember, for 606, which follows us with Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton. 08085 909 693. You might be a Wolves fan who wants to give us a call and celebrate your first Premier League win of the season, 3-0 over West Ham. Is there the possibility of the greatest of great escapes? Let us know. Madueke down to the byline. Truffert went diving in. I think the ball had already gone out of play. Madueke collides with the advertising hoarding, picks himself up, and will walk over to this near side to take the corner to Arsenal, who lead by 2-1.
Yeah, bright for Madueke, getting the ball on the touchline and willingness to run and just go. It's there for them, isn't it? The space is there, and the more that Bournemouth commit, looking at Madueke, looking at Martinelli, their ability to run with the ball and without the ball, he's saying you could be the difference makers to make this 3-1, 4-1 rather than a tight, scrappy old last half hour or so.
Every single Bournemouth player inside their own penalty area, ready to defend this corner. Now that's really poor. Something has been thrown from the crowd towards Madueke. Can't really see what it was. It looked like a golf ball. I don't think it was, but he's thrown it back into the crowd rather lightly. Now takes this corner, cleared away at the near post by Evan Nielsen for Bournemouth. Out to the right hand side, and Madueke will pick it up again. He's taking on Cliver, gets the ball across. It's shoveled behind once more by Evan Nielsen, back there defending for another Arsenal corner. Let's hope that no more objects are forthcoming as he prepares to take this one, Madueke.
Yeah, you're looking at differences between Madueke and Saka. All of them as a corner. His delivery is just not as good on this right-hand side. You're looking, saying one of the main principal reasons Arsenal are so good at set pieces is Declan Rice and Saka.
Little bit of frustration from the home fans as Madueke took his time placing the corner. Now he swings it in, far post this time, big punch by Petrovic. He's done that well in this game, but it's Bournemouth who trail by 2-1, having led early on through Evan Nielsen. Goals from Gabriel and Rice have cancelled that out as the ball is back into the Bournemouth penalty area, cleared away by Bournemouth, picked up by Madueke down to the byline, hooks the ball across, flicked away importantly at that far post by Alex Scott with Zubimendi right behind him. Goes out of play for an Arsenal throw. They are very much on top at the moment as they look to extend their lead.
Yeah, really pressing strong now, and it's all through Madueke down the right hand side. He's got the beating, whoever's up against him. He's getting a yard of space and getting the crosses in. Just needs to find a little bit more quality. Looking at Declan Rice with a long throw into the box.
Short throw this time.
Short throw, not into the box.
Now the ball is into the box. It's cleared away by Marcos Senesi. It did look as though he was shaping up for that Declan Rice, but he's deceived Rob Green but wasn't able to deceive Bournemouth, and it's all the way back with David Raya just outside the centre circle. Out to the left he goes, and Rice once more. Lovely control by the man who has put Arsenal 2-1 up. Fizz ball into the area, can't find Martinelli. Cleared away by James Hill. Clivert will chase, and Capier is beneath it. And we'll get it back from Zubimendi, and Arsenal will steer it all the way back to David Raya. Rob Green.
Yeah, just looking, and Bournemouth have been under the cosh for pretty much the whole of the second half. And that little moment when they came out and pressed a little bit when they conceded, looking to see whether they make changes.
And Arsenal could be in behind here with Gyökeres. Really good defending by Marcos Senesi, but all of a sudden it was almost 3-on-3 there. Bournemouth getting themselves into a bit of a muddle out of nowhere at the back. They've just about dealt with it and have it midway through their own half on the right hand side with Alex Scott. 18 minutes gone in this second half. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 2 here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. So as it stands, Arsenal moving 6 points clear of Aston Villa, who beat Nottingham Forest by 3-1 today. They'll move 7 points clear of Manchester City ahead of their game tomorrow evening against Chelsea. You can listen to that with us on 5 Live. That's a 5:30 kick-off. Ahead of that will be at Craven Cottage for Fulham against Liverpool at 3. And you can listen to the other 3 Premier League games tomorrow on our Sports Extra channels as well. Just go to BBC Sounds and scroll through the dial at the top and find the match that you want to listen to. As Arsenal win the ball back inside their own half, and Petrovic has come a long way, taking charge of the situation, clears out over the head of his applauding manager Andoni Iraola.
Yeah, you look at Senesi stepping in, he's wanting to play a progressive ball, he's really good at those. He didn't get that one right. Zubimendi cut it out, and all of a sudden they're on the back foot. But Gyökeres, with that lack of pace, really, he wasn't allowing that ball to be chased. He was chasing after it, he was never going to get there. Just looking down to the benches now, changes are afoot.
Yes, Arsenal are preparing to make a double change. Gabriel Jesus, who scored pretty much immediately after coming on in the last match against Aston Villa, and Leandro Trossard are preparing to come on. Bournemouth have a player down, Arsenal coming forward. Here's Odegaard, right hand side. Madueke now picks it up, taking on Truffert, goes one way then the other way again, and Truffert gets a foot in only as far as Odegaard. Bournemouth still with the player down inside the centre circle. Arsenal playing on. Madueke's ball in, it's cleared away by James Hill. Evan Nielsen won't reach it. Declan Rice gets the interception out to the right hand side, and Madueke now will clear it off David Brooks, and now Chris Kavanagh will stop play. It's Justin Clivert who's down and has been down for a little while, but Chris Kavanagh clearly deeming it wasn't a serious injury, as we just see a replay of it. He's trying to challenge Zubimendi and injures himself in doing so.
Well, he's trying to bring him down. He wasn't trying to challenge, he was trying to rugby tackle him more than challenge. But just wondering, Adley is coming on for Bournemouth, whether this affects something or just confirms the substitution, whether it will be Clivert coming off.
Well, all players taking the chance to have a bit of a breather. Clivert is still being treated. So David Raya is one of those players over, having a word with Gabriel Jesus. David Raya, who you were telling me before this game, Rob Green, you nicked his gloves once, didn't you?
I was given his gloves, thank you.
Did he know about it?
He did. He was very kind to lend me a really bad pair of gloves after the kit man forgot my gloves playing for Leeds. He was, amazingly, when you think about it now, about third choice at Blackburn, and they were about his fifth choice pair of gloves that I got, and I now know that I have bigger hands than David Raya because they were a tight fit and certainly didn't allow for my erroneous digits, which poke around all over the place. And he's now gracing the Premier League champions-elect and champions of Europe and various other accolades that he's got.
And a very kind-hearted man to help out a fellow goalkeeper in trouble to boot.
All part of the union.
Here are those changes then. So Trossard is on, Saka is on as well.
And a substitution for the Cherries with Las Vegas.
Just trying to have a look to see if Gabriel Jesus indeed has come on. Yes, he has. The players off Martinelli, Gyökeres and Madueke. So Martinelli and Madueke just changing what was changed in the starting lineup with Saka and Trossard coming on. And Amin Adli is on for Bournemouth, replacing David Brooks.
Yeah, 3 like-for-like swaps in there. And you're thinking, out of the 3, if you picked who would you like to play up front for Arsenal, probably these 3 over the 3 that started the game. So 23 minutes to go and Arsenal have just made their 11 a little bit stronger.
Yes, having Gabriel Jesus back is such a boost, isn't it? And it will be interesting to see, as Arsenal have possession on halfway, how this affects Gyökeres. Arteta was actually asked ahead of this game whether this competition with Gyökeres, Jesus and Havertz as well, whenever he does make that comeback, could help Gyökeres, and he kind of ducks it as he tends to do and says, well, it can help the team. But what do you think? Helpful for Gyökeres in terms of increasing competition and helping him raise his own level, or will he be looking over his shoulder and thinking, well, obviously you're not going to hope that somebody's not coming back from injury, but is it a positive thing from a personal point of view for him?
I would say so. I think you're looking at the pressure that he's under. You think if he continues with the lack of goals, and all of a sudden Arsenal get closer and closer to the finish line and they're saying, where are you with the goals? You'd much rather have a league winners medal playing 30 games than not having one playing 38.
So throw to Arsenal over on the far side. They lead by 2-1 at the midway points of this second half here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And at the moment they are in control. They're heading 6 points clear of Aston Villa. They're heading 7 points clear of Manchester City before City's game against Chelsea tomorrow. And Declan Rice has given them that advantage, fighting back from a goal down. And it's he who is in possession on halfway, Rob Green.
It's just interesting that Odegaard, who's drifted around all over the pitch, immediately comes over to the right-hand side within touching distance of Saka.
Saka, who's been dispossessed, good defending by Bournemouth. They're under pressure trying to get it away. It's the fellow substitute Adli who does so and does well. Clears it off his opponent and it goes out of play for a Bournemouth goal kick.
I'm just wondering what the conversation was between Jesus and David Raya. I think as much as Gyökeres played that role within the goal, I don't think Jesus is going to be doing that. He will play centre forward and he'll more likely drift around a lot more. Just wondering, he sort of motioned to say no, someone's really tall. I think they're just trying to say, who shall I kick it against, who shall I kick it away from? Let's get ourselves sorted out when we do have to go long towards you.
Out to the left hand side go Bournemouth. Truefair will appeal for that throw and gets it as well, takes it quickly, but there were 2 balls on the pitch, so Truefair is going to have to wait, and that's a yellow card being brandished as well. And Chris Kavanagh is just trying to slow things down a little bit. Zubamendi it is who's gone into the book, and Bournemouth eventually will get to take this throw.
Yeah, there were 2 balls on the pitch because he kicked the other one onto the pitch. So Chris Kavanagh was wise for that. Thought, well, I know what that is. That's really poorly disguised time wasting.
Here are Bournemouth in possession. Marcos Senesi inside the centre circle. Over the top he goes, looking for Amin Adli. Cleared away from Evan Nielsen, who tumbles right on the edge of the area. Was just outside the box. He's given a pat on the back by Declan Rice and a wag of the finger by referee Chris Kavanagh. As Timber comes forward, a couple of Bournemouth players tumbling, so does Timber, and eventually Timber does win the free kick for Arsenal just inside the Bournemouth half. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 2, Rob Green.
Evan Nielsen just had the chance to shoot there. First time, it was coming down out the sky from a nice height to drop on for a volley, and you're just thinking, just hit it first time, and he took the touch and the chance had gone.
Here come Arsenal, just past the midway point of the second half. Saka plays it infield to Julian Timber. Now Odegaard, lovely ball through to Saka down to the byline, pulls it back, and there's a second for Declan Rice, and there's a third for Arsenal, and surely now that is the 3 points for the Gunners. And at the start of this new year, they are maintaining their winning momentum. They're heading 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 3.
Well, normal service has resumed for Arsenal, and it is one of the normal sources of the goals. Saka making a run in from wide on the right. Just that fraction too long a time for Odegaard to pick his pass, and he slides it towards Petrovic, and Petrovic just delays for a fraction of a second, and that was enough for Saka to get there. Then Petrovic is in no man's land. He doesn't get down to close the ball, and it's a simple cutback, an even simpler finish. It looks like a simple goal. It's just a really well worked, executed goal by Arsenal, by Odegaard, by Saka.
Exactly the difference that Mikel Arteta was looking for. He's been speaking this season about the impact of Arsenal substitutes. Says that's something we've improved a lot. But whether he starts or comes off the bench, Saka so often is one of the men to get involved for Arsenal, to create something out of what is often nothing at times. And he was so integral to that move there. And Arsenal now look well set for victory, and Bournemouth's winless run looks set to extend to 11, but they're coming down this left-hand side with true fare. Intercepted by Trossard on the edge of his own penalty area, headed forward by Gabriel Jesus, and Arsenal are countering again. It's Declan Rice on a hat-trick on halfway, looking to feed Saka. Really important sliding interception by Alex Scott, and Bournemouth will come forward now. It's end-to-end in this second half here at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth are preparing a triple change as Truefair plays the ball into the area, bounces off the chest of Evan Nielsen. He's surrounded by white shirts, can't get the shot away, but Arsenal have given it away to Alex Scott just outside the centre circle. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 3 as Justin Kluivert picks it up midway through the Arsenal half, out to the left hand side, and Senesi feeds Tavernier, and now out to that left-hand side a little bit further, and Adley, but in the end they can't keep hold of it through Tavernier, Bournemouth, and it's a good clearance by Zubimendi off Tavernier for the Arsenal goal kick. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 3.
I'd be really interested to know, Odegaard, when Saka came on, immediately I said he came over to this right-hand side and almost, playing within 5-10 yards of him. You're just wondering what you're saying. Madueke did so much of it on his own out here. Is that instruction? Is that instinct? Is that just someone that you enjoy playing football with? It's such a fascinating facet between the relationship between fantastic players on the pitch.
So here comes that triple change for Bournemouth. The players on: Junior Krupi, Enes Unal, and Lewis Cook back from that neck injury that saw him miss the draw with Chelsea. The players going off: Alex Scott, Justin Kluivert, and Evan Nielsen.
Well, you're looking now, Bournemouth, pretty much a 4-4-2, really. Unal alongside Krupi up front, Cook in the middle. Well, they're 2 goals down, they're going to go for it. You're feeling maybe just open the game up a little bit more. You feel that, you fear that make it open up a little bit more for Arsenal as well. So we could be in for an interesting 15 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
It is Arsenal in control here on 5 Live and BBC Sound. 606 follows us. Lines are open now. 08085 909 693. Book your call with Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton. So much to talk about in the Premier League and the Scottish Premiership. Looking ahead to the games tomorrow as well, as Julian Timber does well, clears that ball away. As Bournemouth will come forward once more with Truefair. He's tussling with Timber, and in the end, whistle goes from referee Chris Kavanagh, and it's a Bournemouth free kick in a good position here, wide left, pretty much level if you look across into the area with that penalty spot.
Yeah, you're feeling that Bournemouth, just for the sense of the game and the belief, they need to score now, really. They need that second wind, that energy. They've made the changes. They've made pretty much everything they can do in an attacking sense to make the difference from the bench. They need to get back within 1 goal now.
So, free kick to Bournemouth on this wide left-hand side. It's a one-player wall for Arsenal. Bukayo Saka, not the tallest, of course, standing on the edge of the penalty area. As it's swung in, it's cleared away. First time by Arsenal, only as far as Alex Jimenez. Works it out to this right-hand side, and Tavernier, they've still got plenty of red and black shirts forwards, including the height of Senesi from the back as the shot is driven in. Oh, what a goal! What a goal from Junior Krupi! Oh, it's a stunner! Outside the area, a cross goal, beating David Raya, all ends up, and perhaps Bournemouth do have hope against the league leaders. 19 years old, his 6th goal of the season. What a talent this young man is. What a goal that was. Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 3.
Well, they needed a goal, they've got a goal, and it is one of the substitutes, and it's a fantastic finish. Really nice interchange of play on the right-hand side, a really good bit of movement from Krupi just to come off the back line into that bit of space, touch out of his feet, and a wonderful finish.
And all of a sudden, Bournemouth have belief. Enes Unal's gone down. Referee Chris Kavanagh and his assistant on the far side not interested. But again, we talk about mentality for Arsenal. This is a test of it when it looked as though they were coasting to victory in this second half.
Yeah, they switched off for a fraction of a second and it's cost them.
And here come Bournemouth down the right-hand side. Wicked delivery and cleared away by Gabriel on the edge of his own 6-yard box. Gabriel Jesus won't keep that in. And listen to the Vitality Stadium now.
Well, it was flat 2 minutes ago. And then Iraola made the changes and we were saying we could be in for something interesting. Well, Bournemouth are interested now.
Enes Unal again goes down, wants a free kick, not given. Ødegaard's won it, and Arsenal will look to counter with Trossard, but he's lost it. Picked up by Antoine Semenyo, driving towards the penalty area. Semenyo's ever blocked on the edge of the area. It goes behind for a Bournemouth corner.
Well, Arsenal are rocking. They can't keep hold of the ball. The red and black shirts are flowing forwards. It's a really good game. It's a fascinating game, and this is why sometimes you're thinking everyone's dead on the feet. What can football produce? What can the Premier League produce? Well, this is it.
It can always provide another twist in the tail. That's what we've learned through the years about this marvellous sport. It's Bournemouth with the corner. It's lifted into the near post. It's poor. It's side netting from Lewis Cook. And it's an Arsenal goal kick. Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 3. And we have 12 minutes plus added time to play.
Well, you need deliveries better than that. But we've just seen replays of Krupi, and it's a brilliant finish where you're looking to think, as a goalkeeper, the way he shapes, you just can't really tell where he's going to go. He manages to roll his foot under and then up over the ball, and that brings in the dip. David Raya's unsighted. I mean, it didn't really matter which way he knew, whether he knew or not, because he had absolutely no chance. It's a brilliant goal.
Arsenal are preparing another change. Mikel Merino is going to come on, but it's Bournemouth at the moment who have belief. They trail by 3-2 here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, but they've got all the possession at the moment. They've got the momentum in the match. Here is Semenyo taking on Nketiah. Just outside the penalty area, nice little 1-2 with Krupi, but then loses out Semenyo on that return ball. And Declan Rice, who's got a brace here that looked to have set Arsenal heading 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League. They're still doing that at the moment, but Bournemouth looking to peg them back as Arsenal through Trossard win a free kick just outside their own penalty area, and that's going to be a yellow card in the bargain as well to the man of the moment, Junior Krupi.
You can't keep him out of the picture at the minute, but it's fascinating that Arsenal, they started the second half pressing and going long and going forwards and going direct. They've gone 3-1 up and they've completely gone away from it. They've gone to try and control the game, try and get the foot on the ball again, and all of a sudden Bournemouth has seized the initiative and gone, no. And we saw this in the first half, saying when Bournemouth press, when they go for it, they really have caused Arsenal problems, and they're doing it again.
So here is that Arsenal change. Martin Ødegaard, the captain, is coming off. Mikel Merino is replacing him. Well, Ødegaard has had his injury struggles this season with shoulder and knee, and Merino Turn 2 by Mikel Arteta.
And you're thinking now, just steady the ship, bring him on. He's not such a creative influence, is he? But what he is more of a midfielder, a central midfielder. He can dig it out, Mikel Merino, and also he's really tall, so he'll help at set pieces as well.
So, Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 3. 9.5 minutes plus added time to go here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. As Arsenal have a throw midway through the Bournemouth half. Bournemouth, who are still looking at the prospect of stretching their winless run to 11 games, but after drawing 2-2 with Chelsea, if they could fight back here, my word, it would be a bit of momentum for Andoni Iraola and his side to get their teeth into. That's what Arsenal are trying to continue. At the moment, they're heading for 7 wins in a row. But all of a sudden, they're starting to waste time. They're just taking as long as they can over these throws. Declan Rice has decided he doesn't like the ball he's got. He's going to go and pick another one up off the white cone. And now, is he going to go long, Rob Green?
Well, I've been at the Emirates and done this before and been roundly booed, so there's no surprise.
He does go along with that throw. It's flicked on by Gabriel and cleared away on the edge of the Bournemouth 6-yard box, out of the area. Bournemouth trying to counter with Enes Ünal. Arsenal have prevented that. Forward now by Senesi, but there's nobody really up there on that right-hand side. Unal's trying to get there. Rice has brought it down nicely and sends it back to David Raya. 8.5 minutes plus added time to play, and Mikel Arteta, right in front of our commentary position, has just raised both hands to David Raya and said, look, just take your time. Just don't play that so quickly. As Bournemouth win possession midway through their own half, send it forward. It's cushioned header by Gabriel to Zubimendi. And Arsenal now just have to try and get a foot on the ball and just take the sting out of the game.
Yeah, interestingly, David Raya, when he did do it, he was hitting Merino, and that's what he does bring. He's the most advanced midfielder, but when they look to go long, he's setting up rather than Gabriel Jesus trying to win the ball. It's him. He does add more than one dimension.
Here goes Bukayo Saka down this right-hand side, loses that to Tavernier. Tavernier will play it forward to Truffert. Picked up by the substitutes, Amin Adli. And now Lewis Cook will have it just outside the centre circle. Bournemouth still in their own half at the moment, but Bournemouth have given themselves hope with that quite fantastic goal from 19-year-old Junior Krupi outside the area, a cross goal. David Raya on the stretch, couldn't get there, and out of nowhere, suddenly, Bournemouth believe they can get something out of this game as they have a throw just inside their own half. Rob Green.
Yeah, it might well end in defeat for Bournemouth. Focuses a lot on the league as Arsenal, but for Bournemouth, you're saying, in this run of games that they've had, they've shown a lack of energy and a lack of real sort of belief in what they've been trying to do, and question themselves for the first time, really. Well, against Chelsea, they're back to their old selves more like, and tonight you have to say they've been more like the Bournemouth that everyone's come to really enjoy.
Yeah, I don't think any of the fans here will have any qualms, the home fans, about the performance, the effort, the Bournemouth, and we have to say Antoine Semenyo, who is still widely expected to join Manchester City, even if he does play against Tottenham in midweek as well.
He's got 7 minutes yet here tonight. They've got a free kick. It's Cook on it. He's put in 2 really poor deliveries so far.
He's hit the side netting from his last corner, but free kick here midway through the Arsenal half on the left-hand side. It's swung in by Lewis Cook. It's towards the far post. Well, it wasn't much better, was it, Rob Green? Straight into the arms of David Raya.
Well, it looked like a man who just hit the side netting at the near post from a corner, because he went completely opposite, overcompensated and just put in a sandwich.
So Arsenal coming down the left-hand side. Trossard's on another free kick. Frustration for the home fans, but applause from that Arsenal contingent. Directly across from our commentary position, made the trip from North London. Will Arsenal be travelling back there with all 3 points? It will take them 6 points clear of Aston Villa at the top of the table, 7 points clear of Manchester City ahead of their game against Chelsea tomorrow. We'll have full commentary on 5 Live of that match from 5:30. Fulham against Liverpool is our 3 o'clock game. And all the other 3 Premier League games are over on Sports Extras channels as James Hill gets the foot in. Well, Arsenal wanted the corner kick. Gabriel Jesus saying it came off Hill, not him, but referee Chris Kavanagh disagrees. And it is a goal kick to Bournemouth. We've got just over 5 minutes plus added time to play. Bournemouth, who did the double over Arsenal last season and stung them in their pursuit of the top honours, as that's surely a handball by Adley, but he feels he was being pushed there. It's been given as a free kick to Arsenal. Referee Chris Kavanagh is just going to let Arsenal take that free kick, even though it was almost blocked off. He's played advantage. Saka has it now on the right hand side. Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 3. Here's Timber, plays it back to Zubimendi, and now Saka once more, right hand side, swings it in left footed. It's cleared away well by Lewis Cook, and then Marino's drive is well claimed by Georgia Petrovic.
What? That's, I think, one of the very few saves we've seen this evening, has it? For a fascinating game with 5 goals. I think both goalkeepers have made 1 save each. It's been remarkable how the game's flowed, how it's ebbed and flowed in terms of momentum. There's been actually not that many shots on target.
Senesi's clearance is blocked away by Gabriel Jesus. That one was clear. It goes out for a Bournemouth throw. 4 minutes plus added time to play. Lines are open for 6:06, which will follow shortly after the conclusion of this game with Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton. Book your call now, 08085 909 693. Arsenal fans, will you be celebrating victory? Bournemouth fans, will you be celebrating what at one stage in the second half looked like a really impossible comeback given how dominant Arsenal were? But it's Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 3 into the final 3.5 minutes as Saka breaks over the halfway line, right hand side, pulls it inside to Declan Rice on a hat-trick, urged to shoot by the away contingent, but he finds Trossard instead on the left hand side of the penalty area. The deflection takes the ball behind, takes it wide of the post, but it's an Arsenal corner. This is exactly where they want it now.
Yeah, you just see the white shirts going forwards and the red and black shirts just beginning to struggle to get back, and it's feeling like Arsenal taking the sting out of the game. They've been here before, they know how to do this. Saka in, no rush. Arsenal edging closer to victory.
That is why there are jeers from the Bournemouth fans as Bukayo Saka still waits to place the ball down on the quadrant, and now does so. They have sent plenty of white shirts forward, Arsenal. Again, every Bournemouth player inside their own penalty area defending this corner from the right-hand side. Which Saka, with his right arm in the air, will now swing in. And it's headed back across goal. Cleared away eventually by Bournemouth and Junior Krupi, whose goal in this second half from the bench has given Bournemouth hope. Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 3. Arsenal coming forward again though. Krupi's there again though, intercepting that ball before it can reach Saka. He's taking touches inside his own area, has to get rid of it, does so. Finds centre half James Hill and out to the right hand side, and Alex Jimenez now will drive against Trossard, who has fresh legs after coming off the bench, and they pay dividends there. Interception goes to Rice, and now via Trossard back to Marino just inside the Bournemouth half. Arsenal just trying to get a little bit of control of possession, once again leading by 3 goals to 2, looking to see this game out and extend their advantage at the top of the Premier League to 6 points over Aston Villa once more as Saka goes for the curler outside the area over the bar. They'll be 7 points clear of Manchester City ahead of their game tomorrow. Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 3. 2 minutes plus added time to play. Rob Green.
Yeah, you're looking at Arsenal, you're thinking keep the ball, maintain possession and just play in the Bournemouth half, but you get the feeling they know that this is still on a knife edge. They want that 4th goal, they want that cushion. It's got that little bit of nervous energy about it.
And that is interesting when it comes to mentality, isn't it? Because they're being brave, Arsenal. Yes, they're taking time over the corners. Yes, every time the ball goes dead, they're eking out seconds. But as you say, they're not sitting back. They're not just passing it around. They're being brave, and that's what they did in the second half against Villa.
Or nervous.
Or nervous.
Or they're not quite sure.
Should we ask Mikel Arteta after the game? Was it bravery or nerves? Well, I think his happiness will probably rest on whether they see this out, whether it's by being aggressive or by sitting back. At the moment they're still being aggressive. Gabriel Jesus has been found down that left hand side. He's done well to keep it in. He's down by the corner so he can take it there if he wants to, but he doesn't. He's driving towards the penalty area, well held up. Then does he win the free kick? No, says Chris Kavanagh. The Arsenal fans are furious. So is Gabriel Jesus. Bournemouth coming forward. Are they going to get a free kick? Yes, they are. And Enesuna finally sees the decision go his way. He wants to take it quickly. Arsenal not letting him do that. Chris Kavanagh saying, well, let's just let play continue and keep the cards in the pocket. And Bournemouth now, that's a little bit silly from Trossard. He's kicked the ball back to where he thinks the free kick should be taken from. Georgia Petrovic, the goalkeeper's come forward and said, well, no, actually, I think it should be taken from there. I think, is Chris Kavanagh clocked off, or is he just going to let them play it out and they can decide where the free kick should be taken from?
Yeah, the children sort it out. It's a minimal number of yards or whatever in their own half.
Senesi's hook ball into the Arsenal penalty area. It's cleared away. Gabriel Jesus will help it on. We're into the final 10 seconds of normal time. Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 3, as we wait for the fourth official to show us how many additional minutes. Six at the end of this half, as Adley's header into the area is cleared away by Mikel Merino. He was then brought down on the edge of the box. It's a free kick to Arsenal, and that is really, really good play from Merino, who drew the foul. It's a yellow card into the bargain as well for Amin Adley. And that is exactly why Mikel Arteta's brought him on.
Yep, won the foul, killed the game, under pressure, set piece, and they've just taken the sting completely out of the game. Good experience from Merino. He does tread on his foot. Desperation more than anything for Adley. Frustration for Bournemouth. I don't think Areola could have asked for any more of his team. So playing as well as they could have played on the front foot, the energy that they've shown. They're still going in the 91st minute. Substitutions have come on and made a difference. They're still losing the game.
Yeah, it's going to be 11 games winless, you would think, Bournemouth, but could they still get a late equaliser to hurt Arsenal's title challenge? Arsenal have stolen it. Here's Gabriel Jesus, right-hand side of the penalty area, pulls the ball across. Well, he was going for goal there, and Georgia Petrovic read it and claims for Bournemouth.
Yeah, I could have cut it back, but he wasn't to know that the players. Marino was waiting, Declan Rice was waiting, went for goal from an impossible angle, really, under pressure. Just wonder whether there's one more big chance left in this.
5 minutes of added time to play. There's certainly time for one. Here's Declan Rice, just outside the centre circle on a hat-trick. Rice, and Trossard now works it out to the left-hand side, and here come Arsenal once more. Oh, it's good play inside the area from Gabriel Jesus, but then he loses out, and Alex Jimenez will get past Trossard with ease, and Trossard head down is trying to chase him, but Jimenez is over the halfway line. Ball forward though is intercepted by Hincapié, and Bournemouth will have to try and get the ball back from Arsenal once more. It's Mikel Merino out to Trossard on the left-hand side, and for once Arsenal aren't charging forward, but again Trossard there just into the Bournemouth half, and again does look for that option that's coming forward. This time it's Zubimendi, now Saka right-hand side. Is he going to go to the corner? Not quite yet. He's on the edge of the penalty area, right-hand side, checks one way and then the other, looking for options. There's a few white shirts up there to use, and it will be collected by Merino on the edge of the area, forced a little wide, and Capie now getting forward, fizzes the ball in, Hill with the big up and under, and Georgia Petrovic watches that well, claims it out of the night sky, and springs Bournemouth away on the counter. 2.5 minutes of added time to play. Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 3.
There really was no need to do that. You could have just kept the ball up. Bournemouth are dead on their feet. The players can barely move now. They put everything into this. Keep the ball for 2.5 minutes, whatever it is, and no, they're still looking to go forwards.
Bravery, nerves, and perhaps a lack of wisdom. The final whistle will tell us which way Arsenal have played the final few minutes of this game, because it is about the results now. 2 minutes of added time to play. Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 3. It's Arsenal coming forward again. It's Saka again, down the right-hand side. Is he going to go to the corner? No, he's not. He's taking on Truefair, down to the byline, pulls it across and wins the corner. I mean, that's even better.
He's done well. Saka's done well since he's come on. He's provided something a little bit different, hasn't he? Provided the assist for the goal. Mikel Merino is in the D, screaming at him, waving at him, saying, do not cross this ball. Keep the ball. Finally, you're thinking Arsenal are making a bit of sense here. They're keeping 5-6 men back all of a sudden.
For the very first time in this game, with 90 seconds to play, and are they finally going to keep it in the corner? Gabriel Jesus has come over. Yes, they are. Saka's got it, now plays it to Jesus. They're trying to see this out, Arsenal, as well. They might have lost possession. It's a Bournemouth goal kick. Do we have time for one more chance?
No, they should have crossed it, shouldn't they? Keep it in the corner. Keep it in the corner. You hold it in there, but don't kick it off for a goal kick. And still Bournemouth feeling they put so much into this. They feel like they probably deserve one last stab at getting on a point.
Oh, the fine margins of football tactics, as Adley can't latch onto that. It's hacked away by Jurriën Timber. Forward now by Marcos Senesi. Oh, lovely control by Enesina just outside the penalty area. Won't break to Adley and should roll all the way through to David Raya. And nobody's really closing down for Bournemouth. David Raya almost took it to the corner over there. Now, Adley is tumbled inside the area, tussling with Gabriel, and the decision has gone against Adley, who has already been booked. So let's see what referee Chris Kavanagh's going to do here. Well, Adley's saying he's been elbowed by Gabriel. Well, he started this game with a bit of a howler, Gabriel. It certainly would be a howler if he's ended up elbowing Adley off the ball here.
Well, he headbutted him on the elbow. That's what happened, but Adley running all the way across the prime pressurised David Raya. It's all a bit ridiculous in the end. What it does do is kill a few seconds for Arsenal.
Well, he's on a yellow, Adley. He's been spared successful deception of a match official, second yellow. Well, he wasn't successfully deceived, was he? But could perhaps have been in a little bit of trouble there. But Arsenal won't care. They need to see this one out, and they are almost doing so. It looked comfortable in this second half after Declan Rice got his second of the game to put them 3-1 up, but that super goal from Junior Krupi has meant that this has been a test of Arsenal's mentality as the ball goes behind for a Bournemouth goal kick, and they take it quickly. We played the minimum 5 added minutes. Mikel Arteta's telling everybody to get back as Bournemouth send it long. It's flicked on by Antoine Semenyo, collected and sent out to this left-hand side by Truffert. Bournemouth have got to get it forward here. Chris Kavanagh still allowing play to go on as the ball is into the area. It's cleared away by Mikel Merino, blasted by Adley, deflected by Arsenal, out of play for a Bournemouth throw. And are we going to play on? Chris Kavanagh is having a think about it. I think they're going to take this throw, and it's Antoine Semenyo whose 2 long throws led to their 2 goals against Chelsea in midweek, and everybody's coming up, including their goalkeeper Georgia Petrovic. This is it. It's now or never for Bournemouth. Can they damage Arsenal's title chances? It's cleared away at the near post, and there is the full-time whistle. Bournemouth are furious because the ball had come back out to Semenyo. They felt the attack was still ongoing. The Bournemouth players are surrounding referee Chris Kavanagh, but Arsenal celebrate to a chorus of boos from the home fans and cheers from their supporters. 7 wins in a row in all competitions. They head 6 points clear of Aston Villa and 7 points clear of Manchester City ahead of their clash with Chelsea. It finishes Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 3.
Well, there's fury and there's jubilation. Arsenal fans are away on the far side are celebrating a hard-fought 3 points. Bournemouth can't quite believe they didn't get one last stab at Semenyo crossing that ball in, but they've been terrific. It's a fascinating game. Ebbed and flowed throughout the 90 minutes. Arsenal never really had control of the game up until Declan Rice scored his second goal, and you're thinking they were home and hosed. But Bournemouth just kept on plugging away. Substitutes made a difference for both teams. It has been a brilliant spectacle. I think Arsenal will be thrilled that they've come away with those 3 points.
Well, Andone Iraola has come onto the pitch to talk to referee Chris Kavanagh. He has ushered his own players away, and he is having the conversation with Chris Kavanagh. You're not fit to referee is the chant for the Bournemouth fans. I mean, Arsenal will say, look, the 5 minutes are up, you had the chance to play it in, we cleared it away, and so sorry it's gone to Semenyo. And I guess the question is that Semenyo's final touch for Bournemouth, or will he still be here to play against Tottenham in midweek? We wait to see the twists and turns of the transfer window, but what a huge victory this is for Arsenal. They fell behind early on, they fought back to lead 3-1, they were pegged back by a quite fabulous goal from 19-year-old Junior Krupi, but in the end they have seen this victory over the line. 7 wins in a row in all competitions now. Are they going to continue this momentum, to finally find the mentality to take them to the Premier League title as they go over to applaud their fans? 6:06 is coming up shortly here on 5 Live. Get your calls in now, 08085 909 693 with Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton. But first, it's the BBC News with Jill Mackenzie.
The voice